Chapter 2602. Captain Qin Yu. Duan Lingtian nodded in response to Qin Yu's greeting. Duan Lingtian had a rough idea of what had happened on the way here. As it turned out, Qin Yu was Jian Xiaoping's centurion. He had come out of his closed-door cultivation and challenged Jian Xiaoping. Since Jian Xiaoping had admitted defeat, Qin Yu had replaced Jian Xiaoping as the new captain while Jian Xiaoping was demoted to a centurion. No wonder Jian Xiaoping called himself a centurion when he challenged me. Duan Lingtian finally understood the situation after he learned about the ins and outs of the matter. Lord Captain, Lord Captain. At the same time, a series of respectful greetings rang in Duan Lingtian's ears. Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes and saw his subordinates from the Black Dragon Army had gathered together and bowed to him. Duan Lingtian was slightly surprised by this. Although he knew that he had intimidated his subordinates to a certain extent when he made his move last time, it was still not enough. However, he didn't expect that after that incident, this group of people's attitude towards him would change so drastically. So he's the new captain, Duan Lingtian? It should be him. Didn't you see the group of people who used to be under Captain Huang Jibing's command greeting him? Isn't he just a violet moon, heavenly celestial? If he's just a violet moon, heavenly celestial, there's no way these people would treat him with such respect, right? Who knows? Based on the current situation, there's no doubt everyone has their reasons. As for the new captain's strength, we'll find out after the battle between him and Jian Xiaoping. In the Valley of Ares, the Black Dragon Army's soldiers looked at Duan Lingtian and sized him up. Apart from Duan Lingtian's subordinates, it was the first time the other soldiers had seen Duan Lingtian, their new Chiliarch. I didn't expect that the first time I saw the new Chiliarch would be when he was fighting another veteran Chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army, Jian Xiaoping, who had just been promoted to a centurion. I'm curious. How capable is the person who found Chiliarch Huang Jibing's identity token? I'm looking forward to this battle. The Black Dragon Army's soldiers shifted their attention to Duan Lingtian before they shifted their attention to Jian Xiaoping, who was standing in the middle of the Valley of Ares. Duan Lingtian, Jian Xiaoping. He was today's main character. Duan Lingtian, you actually came. Jian Xiaoping stood on the first battle in the Valley of Ares as he stared at Duan Lingtian. His tone was filled with disdain. I thought you would hide in your tent and pretend to be in closed-door cultivation even if you knew I was going to challenge you. I didn't expect you to come. Jian Xiaoping's words were filled with disdain. He was clearly provoking Duan Lingtian. For a moment, whoosh, 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 whoosh. Many people shifted their gazes from Jian Xiaoping to Duan Lingtian. How presumptuous! Faced with Jian Xiaoping's disdain, Duan Lingtian flew past Chen Xianba, the commander of the Black Dragon Army, and landed in the Valley of Ares where Jian Xiaoping was. Whoosh! As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, he hovered in the air above the first battle and looked down at Jian Xiaoping. Whoosh! Jian Xiaoping was furious when he saw how Duan Lingtian dared to look down on him. His expression changed drastically. Whoosh! Following that, he rose into the air and hovered in the air parallel to Duan Lingtian. He glared at Duan Lingtian as he hovered in the air. The aura of celestial origin energy spread out from his body. It was clear that he had completed the accumulation of energy in his body in an instant. I really don't know where a mere violet moon heavenly celestial like you gets the courage to say I, Jian Xiaoping, am presumptuous. Jian Xiaoping said in a deep voice as he stared coldly at Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian looked at Jian Xiaoping calmly. However, he did not seem to care about Jian Xiaoping at all. He stood there motionless like a statue. Of course, Duan Lingtian, I have to admit that you're quite capable. At the very least, you're able to get your subordinates to help and protect you in such a short time. They even spread fake news that you're not a violet moon heavenly celestial and that you're not weaker than me. In fact, you're even stronger than me. Jian Xiaoping's expression darkened when he saw Duan Lingtian ignoring him. His words were filled with ruthlessness. Duan Lingtian was taken aback when he heard Jian Xiaoping's words. He turned to look at the soldiers of the Black Dragon Army. He didn't expect that his subordinates had done so much for him without his knowledge. The centurion who was injured by Duan Lingtian earlier stepped forward when he saw Duan Lingtian looking at him. Sir Chiliarch, Centurion Jian Xiaoping came to our camp today and said that he will defeat you and replace you as our Chiliarch and teach us a lesson after that. However, we believe that Lord Chiliarch will never give him the chance to do so. The centurion's emotions were stirred up when he spoke. That's right. Lord Chiliarch, we believe in you. Lord Chiliarch, we believe that you won't give him the chance to replace you. After the centurion had stirred up the emotions of the Black Dragon Army, Duan Lingtian's subordinates, as well. All of them looked at Duan Lingtian expectantly, anticipating the victory of their new Chiliarch. What nonsense are you talking about? Jian Xiaoping's expression changed drastically as he glared at the centurion under Duan Lingtian's command. He did not expect Duan Lingtian's subordinate would repeat his words in such a situation. After all, the commander of the Black Dragon Army was present as well. Although it was not taboo in the Black Dragon Army to seek revenge on one's subordinates, it was still despicable. At the very least, the commander of the Black Dragon Army would not sit idly by and do nothing. Jian Xiaoping. As expected, Chen Xianba, the commander of the Black Dragon Army, was furious when he heard Jian Xiaoping's words. He glared at Jian Xiaoping and asked in a deep voice, "Is what he said true?" "Commander, I was just joking with them." Jian Xiaoping hurriedly bowed and tried to salvage the situation. At this time, he also knew that he could not deny it. Duan Lingtian's subordinates, the Black Dragon Army, could easily drown him with just a spit of saliva. Humph. Chen Xuanba snorted coldly as he looked at Jian Xiaoping coldly. Jian Xiaoping was so frightened that he broke out in cold sweat. Chen Xuanba turned to Qin Yu and said, "Captain Qin Yu, if Jian Xiaoping defeats Duan Lingtian today and replaces him, you'll switch places with him. You'll take over Captain Duan Lingtian's subordinates, and Jian Xiaoping will return to lead his old subordinates." "I'll follow your arrangements, Commander." Qin Yu replied immediately. This commander actually made such an arrangement? The Black Dragon Army soldiers in the Valley of the Ares God were stunned when they heard Chen Xuanba's arrangement. When they regained their senses, a commotion broke out again. It seems like even Commander Chen thinks highly of Centurion Jian Xiaoping. Isn't it obvious? If Commander Chen didn't think highly of Centurion Jian Xiaoping, why would he make such an arrangement? Lord Commander is planning to hand over Captain Duan Lingtian's subordinates to Captain Qin Yu after Centurion Jian Xiaoping defeats Captain Duan Lingtian and replaces him. He's doing this to prevent Centurion Jian Xiaoping from bullying his subordinates after he becomes the new captain of Duan Lingtian. It seems like Captain Duan Lingtian has no chance of winning today. Since Commander Qin doesn't think highly of Captain Duan Lingtian, there's no doubt about the outcome of this battle. Now that Chen Xuanba had spoken to Qin Yu, other than Duan Lingtian's subordinates, almost everyone in the Valley of the Ares God was certain that Duan Lingtian would lose. If they had not seen Duan Lingtian fight with their own eyes and heard Chen Xuanba's words, even Duan Lingtian's subordinates would doubt Duan Lingtian's strength. However, even after hearing Chen Xuanba's words, they were still confident in Duan Lingtian's strength. With Captain Qin's strength, no matter how weak he is, he'll still be able to fight Jian Xiaoping to a draw. Jian Xiaoping is dreaming if he wants to be our captain. Captain Qin's strength is definitely not below Jian Xiaoping's. Duan Lingtian's subordinates all looked at Duan Lingtian. They were blindly confident in Duan Lingtian. "Replace me and take care of my men?" Duan Lingtian was stunned when he heard the words of the centurion he had injured. When he looked at Jian Xiaoping again, his eyes were cold. Jian Xiaoping. In the next moment, Duan Lingtian's body swayed. He seemed to have transformed into an eagle as he soared into the sky. At the same time, he looked at Jian Xiaoping coldly and shouted, "I'll give you 3 breaths to prepare. You can use all the techniques you have at your disposal. After 3 breaths, if I, Duan Lingtian, can't defeat you in 1 move, I, Duan Lingtian, will give up my position as captain of the Black Dragon Army." Duan Lingtian's voice was so cold that it seemed to cause the temperature in the surroundings to drop by a few degrees. Most of the Black Dragon Army soldiers in the Valley of the Ares God felt as though winter had arrived. As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, the crowd fell silent. Chapter 26:03. Jian Xiaoping. I'll give you 3 breaths to prepare. You can use all the techniques you have at your disposal. After 3 breaths, if I, Duan Lingtian, can't defeat you in one move. I, Duan Lingtian, will give up my position as the captain of the Black Dragon Army. Duan Lingtian's cold voice reverberated in the Valley of Ares. The entire place fell silent. His voice lingered in the ears of the people in the Valley of Ares for a long time. Everyone, including Commander Chan Xianba of the Black Dragon Army and the other main character today, Centurion Jian Xiuping, were shocked by Duan Lingtian's words. It took them a long time to regain their senses. This was because Duan Lingtian's words were too terrifying. Captain Duan Lingtian, did I really underestimate him? Chen Xianba was the first to regain his senses. When he looked at Duan Lingtian again, a hint of doubt flashed in his eyes. As the commander of the Black Dragon Army, he had his own judgment. Although Duan Lingtian's actions seemed arrogant, when he observed Duan Lingtian carefully, he discovered that Duan Lingtian was confident. Duan Lingtian exuded confidence from head to toe. This level of confidence was not something an ordinary person could possess. It was impossible for someone who was deliberately mystifying to have such confidence. This was Chen Xianba's judgment. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Chen Xianba was still looking at Duan Lingtian in shock when Jian Xiuping, who had just regained his senses, burst out laughing. It was as though he had just heard the funniest joke in the world. Jian Xiuping's laughter caused the others in the Valley of Ares to regain their senses as well. Captain Duan Lingtian. He said he's going to defeat Centurion Jian Xiuping in one move? My God. Is he joking? Defeat Centurion Jian Xiuping in one move? Lord Commander is probably the only person in the Black Dragon Army who has the ability to do so, right? If he's really that strong, why would he be a captain in the Black Dragon Army? I feel that he's most likely just deliberately mystifying things. Perhaps he's using this as a psychological attack against Centurion Jian Xiuping. Psychological attack? Based on the current situation, Centurion Jian Xiuping isn't affected by his words at all. Most of the soldiers in the Black Dragon Army felt that Duan Lingtian was bluffing. They did not believe Duan Lingtian had the ability to defeat Jian Xiuping. Sir Chiliarch, although I believe that his strength is not below Jian Xiuping's, it seems impossible for him to defeat Jian Xiuping in one strike, right? Captain Duan Lingtian. He actually said that if he couldn't defeat Jian Xiuping in one go, he would give up the position of Chiliarch? Does he not want to be our Chiliarch that much? Even Duan Lingtian's subordinates were shocked by Duan Lingtian's words. Although they had confidence in Duan Lingtian, they were certain Duan Lingtian would not lose to Jian Xiuping. However, they did not expect Duan Lingtian to be so strong. They did not expect Duan Lingtian would be able to defeat Jian Xiuping in one move. If Jian Xiuping was just an ordinary centurion who had not become a golden celestial, they believed Duan Lingtian would be able to defeat Jian Xiuping in one move. However, not only was Jian Xiuping not an ordinary centurion, but he was also a golden celestial who had been a Chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army for a long time. Duan Lingtian was the only person in the entire Black Dragon Army who was capable of defeating Jian Xiuping in one move. How arrogant. He's out of his mind. Other than Qin Yu and Zhao Dongxing, who only frowned slightly, Hu Ji and Kai Wenyu could not help but laugh out loud. When they found out Duan Lingtian was only a violet moon heavenly celestial, they had looked down on Duan Lingtian from the bottom of their hearts. However, Duan Lingtian had said he would defeat Jian Xiuping in one move. Naturally, they did not believe him. As far as they were concerned, Duan Lingtian had simply lost his mind. Duan Lingtian. At this moment, Jian Xiuping finally stopped laughing. He looked at Duan Lingtian with a hint of disdain in his eyes as he said, "You're just a violet moon heavenly celestial. There's no need for me to go all out to defeat you. I only need to use half of my strength to defeat a mere violet moon heavenly celestial." As soon as Jian Xiuping finished speaking, the celestial origin energy that he had accumulated in his body surged out of his body like dragons that had escaped from their cages. As soon as they broke out of their cages, they were filled with fighting spirit as if they had been injected with chicken blood. Duan Lingtian, I don't even need to use my celestial weapon. I'll defeat you with just a swing of my staff. Jian Xiuping's celestial origin energy surged out of his body as he rose into the air. At this moment, The dragon-like celestial origin energy that coiled around his body transformed into a pair of wings. It was a movement divine ability that he had mastered. He did not use the movement celestial technique he had mastered since he did not think it was necessary. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. In the void, a sound that sounded like the wailing of ghosts and howling of wolves resounded. As Jian Xiaoping opened and closed his hands, the celestial origin energy that was swirling around his body quickly condensed into a long rod. It was obvious Jian Xiaoping was skilled in using a staff. Staff quaking mountains and rivers. Jian Xiaoping cried out. He was not far away from Duan Lingtian. With his current speed, it would only take him a blink of an eye to catch up to Duan Lingtian. Buzz, 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 buzz. As soon as Jian Xiaoping finished speaking, the long rod formed from his celestial origin energy tore through the air as he charged toward Duan Lingtian. It was as though his rod was capable of shaking the heavens and the earth with just one strike. With Jian Xiaoping's strength, he can easily defeat a violet moon, heavenly celestial with just a swing of his staff. Jian Xiaoping's staff contains the profundity of celestial methods and divine abilities. The staff quaking mountains and rivers is a combination of his celestial methods and divine abilities. Its strength is not to be underestimated. Captain Hu Ji and Kai Wenyu, who were standing behind Chen Xianba, the commander of the Black Dragon Army, looked at Jian Xiaoping, who was charging toward Duan Lingtian with a hint of admiration in their eyes. At this moment, they could already see Duan Lingtian being defeated by Jian Xiaoping. I'd like to see what makes you think you can defeat Jian Xiaoping with just a swing of your hand, Chen Xianba muttered to himself as he stared at Duan Lingtian. In his field of vision, Duan Lingtian's expression remained calm, even though Jian Xiaoping had not unleashed his full strength. It was as if Jian Xiaoping's ferocious attack was nothing in his eyes. At this moment, Chen Xianba, who was staring at Duan Lingtian, saw a hint of disdain in Duan Lingtian's eyes. At this moment, Jian Xiaoping's staff was already charging toward Duan Lingtian with a force that could shake mountains and rivers. He was getting closer and closer to Duan Lingtian. In the end, he was only a foot away from Jian Xiaoping. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. At this critical moment, the sound of a sword whistling in the air rang in the air. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, dazzling sword rays suddenly bloomed from all over Duan Lingtian's body. These sword rays seemed to have flashed out from every pore on his body. There were countless of them. With a rough look, there were at least 10,000 of them. Everyone in the Valley of Ares was attracted by the dazzling sword rays that shot out of Duan Lingtian's body. Bang! A loud, muffled sound was transmitted into everyone's ears like the beating of a drum. Boom, 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 boom. Accompanied by thunderous explosions, the Valley of the War God was swept up by a tyrannical gale, causing some of the weaker soldiers of the Black Dragon Army to squint their eyes. Under everyone's watchful eyes, a gigantic sword had appeared under Duan Lingtian's feet. This gigantic sword was formed from the thousands of sword rays that shot out from Duan Lingtian's body. It hovered under his feet like a sturdy wall and blocked Jian Xiaoping's ferocious and powerful staff attack. Jian Xiaoping's hands shook violently as he smashed his staff against the gigantic sword under Duan Lingtian's feet. Wah! When the long rod formed by his celestial origin energy dissipated, he was sent flying like an arrow released from a bow. While he was being sent flying, he spat out a large mouthful of blood in an extremely sorry state. His blood splattered in the air. Duan Lingtian, I want you dead. I want you dead. Just as everyone present was completely stunned by the scene in front of them, Jian Xiaoping roared from the depths of his throat after his figure was shaken to a halt. His eyes were filled with humiliation and anger. It was as though he could burn everything. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. A ghostly wail rang in the air. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. When Jian Xiaoping attacked again, not only did he take out his celestial artifact, the long staff, but he also cast the assist-type divine ability that he had not used before. It raised his celestial origin energy to a whole new level. Then, he cast his offensive technique again. Staff shaking mountains and rivers. It was the same technique, but this time, it was completely different from before. Jin Xiaoping attacked with all his might. The celestial weapon staff in his hand shot out like a towering pillar. At this moment, it felt as though heaven and earth were about to be destroyed. Bang! Finally, the celestial weapon long rod in his hand landed on the gigantic sword that was hovering under Duanling Tian's feet like a sturdy barrier. The force of the staff that could shake mountains and rivers surged out once again. Chapter 2604. Bang! When Jin Xiaoping's celestial weapon, the long rod, landed on the gigantic sword formed by the sword formation under Duanling Tian's feet, an earth-shattering explosion reverberated in the air. Many of the Black Dragon Army soldiers with a weaker cultivation base felt a piercing pain in their eardrums. Whoosh! 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 As the sound of the collision reverberated in the air, ripples began to spread out from the gigantic sword beneath Duanling Tian's feet. It was as if a huge rock had landed on the surface of a calm lake, causing circles of ripples. The ripples were especially vivid. Boom! 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 Ripples spread out in all directions in the void. At the same time, waves of vibrating power swept out in all directions. When the shockwaves shrouded the Black Dragon Army soldiers in the Valley of Ares, many of them retreated. It was obvious they were under great pressure. Otherwise, they would not have reacted in such a manner. Is Centurion Jin Xiaoping using all his strength? Centurion Jin Xiaoping is attacking with all his might. When the Black Dragon Army soldiers in the Valley of Ares thought of this, they turned to look at the sky above the first battle arena in unison. When their gazes landed on the scene in the void, they were completely dumbfounded. In the vast void, a purple-robed young man stood on a giant sword like a deity. Below him, Jin Xiaoping's hands were bleeding profusely as he gripped the celestial staff tightly. That was not all. Currently, Jin Xiaoping was forced to take more than 10 steps back. His face was pale as though a storm was brewing. Barf! Sensing the surrounding gazes, Jin Xiaoping, who was originally still stubbornly holding on, finally could not help but open his mouth and spit out a large mouthful of blood once again. His blood splattered in the air, causing many of the Black Dragon Army's soldiers to tremble. This Duanling Tian Chiliarch has not made a move since the beginning. All he did was defend. Yet, he managed to put Centurion Jin Xiaoping into such a sorry state? It's one thing for Centurion Jin Xiaoping to be at a disadvantage because he didn't use his full strength earlier. This time, Centurion Jin Xiaoping attacked with all his might in anger, but he still couldn't hurt Chiliarch Duanling Tian at all? And he's injured again. Oh my god, how can this Duanling Tian Chiliarch be so strong? In the Valley of the Ares, some of the Black Dragon Army soldiers who had recovered from their shock looked at Duanling Tian in shock and disbelief. Previously, the commander of the Black Dragon Army did not think highly of Duanling Tian, the new captain of the Black Dragon Army, so they thought Duanling Tian would definitely lose. But no one expected that the outcome was actually so unexpected. Jin Xiaoping, a veteran Chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army, could not even break through the defense of this new Chiliarch. One could only imagine the strength of this new Chiliarch. Sir Chiliarch is so strong. Oh my god. Is this really our Chiliarch? I'm not dreaming, am I? Based on the Chiliarch's current strength, I'm afraid even Chiliarch Huang Jiabing is no match for him. When the Black Dragon Army soldiers under Duanling Tian recovered from their shock, they were also shocked by the strength that Duanling Tian had displayed. Apart from being shocked, they were also overjoyed. In the future, with such a Chiliarch protecting them, they would be able to do whatever they wanted in the Black Dragon Army. Whoosh! 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 At the same time, many of the Black Dragon Army soldiers shifted their attention to Duanling Tian's subordinates. A hint of envy and jealousy could be seen in their eyes. The reason for their envy and jealousy was similar to the reason why Duanling Tian's subordinates were overjoyed. Who is he? Why is he here in the Black Dragon Army? Chun Xinba, the commander of the Black Dragon Army, stared at Duanling Tian with a burning gaze. He knew even he might not be able to block Jin Xiaoping's attack so easily with just a defensive technique. Chen Xianba was completely stunned by Duan Lingtian's defensive technique. How? How's this possible? Isn't he a violet moon, heavenly celestial? Hu Ji and Kai Wenyu, who were standing behind Chen Xianba, looked at each other when they regained their senses. They could see the shock and disbelief in each other's eyes. How powerful! The other two captains, Qin Yu and Zhao Dongxing, were shocked when they looked at Duan Lingtian again. They were also shocked by Duan Lingtian's strength. Is this all you've got? Under everyone's watchful eyes, Duan Lingtian stood on the gigantic sword formed by the sword formation with his hands clasped behind his back. He looked like a high and mighty emperor as he looked down at Jin Xiaoping, who was injured by him again. Jin Xiaoping's heart skipped a beat when he heard Duan Lingtian's voice. When he looked at Duan Lingtian again, it was as though he had just seen a devil. His eyes widened, and his expression changed drastically. I admit defeat. I admit defeat. I admit defeat. Although Jin Xiaoping could not figure out how Duan Lingtian was so powerful, he did not have time to think about it. He hurriedly admitted defeat, so he could leave this person in front of him as soon as possible. At this moment, face, honor, and disgrace had been tossed to the back of his mind. All he knew was that if this battle continued, he would only be tortured. He had attacked with all his might, but he could not even break through Duan Lingtian's defense. There was no need for him to continue this battle. Take this. If you don't die, I'll allow you to admit defeat. Duan Lingtian only glanced at Jin Xiaoping indifferently when he saw Jin Xiaoping admitting defeat. It was as though he was a high and mighty emperor who was giving out a supreme order. At the same time, the gigantic sword formed by the sword formation under Duan Lingtian's feet rose into the air and released a dazzling sword ray. This gigantic sword ray was formed by the tens of thousands of sword rays in the sword formation. As soon as it shot out, everyone in the Valley of Ares could feel the sharp sword chi emanating from it. No. Jin Xiaoping's expression changed drastically when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. He finally realized something. Duan Lingtian wanted to kill him. You can't kill me. There are rules in the Black Dragon Army. Unless there's a life and death agreement, the soldiers of the Black Dragon Army are not allowed to kill each other. If you kill me, you'll be violating the rules of the Black Dragon Army. You'll be severely punished by the Black Dragon Army. Jin Xiaoping looked at Duan Lingtian in horror as he roared hysterically. When he mentioned the rules of the Black Dragon Army, it was as though he had found a straw to clutch at. Boom, boom, boom. However, Duan Lingtian's reply to Jin Xiaoping was the gigantic sword that seemed to blot out the sun. The gigantic sword was not pointed at Jin Xiaoping. Instead, it was aimed at Jin Xiaoping. However, when the gigantic sword descended, it was as though a gigantic mountain had fallen. At the same time, it locked onto Jin Xiaoping. It was as though it would follow him wherever he went until it suppressed him. Naturally, Jin Xiaoping wanted to escape. However, he soon discovered that he had been locked onto by the gigantic sword. There was no way for him to escape. He could only take the attack head-on. However, how could he possibly take the attack in his current state? Not to mention that he had already been injured twice. Even if he was in his peak condition and attacked with all his strength, he was doomed to die under this sword. The power contained in the giant sword that came crashing down had completely exceeded the scope of what he could withstand. Boom, boom, boom. The gigantic sword continued to descend. Its wide body continued to envelop Jin Xiaoping as though it was trying to suppress him. No, no, Lord Commander. Save me! Lord Commander, save me! In just a blink of an eye, the gigantic sword had traversed more than half the distance and was right above his head. Jin Xiaoping's eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. He immediately turned to look at Commander Chen Xianba of the Black Dragon Army and cried for help. However, Chen Xianba did not move at all. It was as though he was stunned by the scene before him. Bang! Finally, when Jin Xiaoping's eyes were filled with despair, the giant sword that looked like it had been thrown by a god landed on Jin Xiaoping's body. The terrifying power caused Jin Xiaoping's body to explode into a bloody mist. Only a long staff and a ring were left in the bloody mist. They were Jin Xiaoping's celestial weapon and spatial ring. Whoosh! Whoosh! When Jin Xiaoping was killed by the gigantic sword, Duan Lingtian, who was hovering in the air, raised his hand. Jin Xiaoping's celestial weapon and spatial ring flew into his hand before he put them away. The Valley of Ares once again fell into a deathly silence. After a while, the people in the Valley of Ares finally regained their senses. Gasp, 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 gasp. When the people regained their senses, they gasped in unison. When they looked at Duan Lingtian again, a hint of respect could be seen in their eyes. Even the four captains standing behind Chen Xianba were no exception to this. The two captains, Hu Ji and Kai Wenyu, looked at Duan Lingtian in awe. However, a hint of remorse could be seen in their eyes at the same time. They regretted not recognizing Mount Tai. At the same time, they hated Jin Xiaoping, who was killed by Duan Lingtian. If Jin Xiaoping had not misled them, they would not have alienated Duan Lingtian because they thought he was just a violet moon, heavenly celestial. Captain Duan Lingtian. Chapter 2605. Rules. Upon hearing Chen Xianba's question, Duan Lingtian shifted his gaze to Chen Xianba. He stared at Chen Xianba for a moment before he said unhurriedly, "Commander, rules are made by people, right? You're the Black Dragon Army's commander. It's up to you to decide if I've broken the rules today." Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes slightly when he reached the end of his sentence. "Captain Duan Lingtian, what do you want from the Black Dragon Army?" Chen Xianba asked in a deep voice. After witnessing Duan Lingtian's strength, he could tell that Duan Lingtian was not weak at all. Not only was Duan Lingtian's strength not inferior to his, it was even possible that Duan Lingtian was stronger than him. Would such a person be willing to serve as a Chiliarch in the Black Dragon Army willingly? Naturally, even if Duan Lingtian was stronger than him, he was not worried about losing his position as the Black Dragon Army's commander. After all, becoming the Black Dragon Army's commander was not as simple as being a Decurion, Centurion, or Chiliarch. According to the Black Dragon Army's rules, as long as one was strong enough, one would be promoted. However, the Black Dragon Army's commander was personally appointed by the city governor of Bloody Spectre City. Unless the city governor approved and gave the order, it was impossible to replace Chen Xianba as the Black Dragon Army's commander. "I'm looking for a place to cultivate," Duan Lingtian said as he opened his eyes. From the beginning until the end, Chen Xianba had been staring at Duan Lingtian as though he was trying to figure something out from Duan Lingtian's eyes. However, he was destined to be disappointed. Duan Lingtian's eyes were as calm as an ancient well. He did not reveal any emotions at all. There's nothing in the Black Dragon Army that's worth his attention. After thinking for a while, Chen Xianba could not figure out what Duan Lingtian was planning to do to the Black Dragon Army. In the end, he decided not to think about it anymore. After looking at Duan Lingtian for a while, he turned around and left the Valley of Ares. Chen Xianba's departure clearly showed his attitude toward Duan Lingtian's killing of Jin Xiaoping. He would not pursue the matter. The black armored soldiers in the Valley of Ares were not surprised by Chen Xianba's departure. Although the commander of the Black Armored Army had never fought with Captain Duan Lingtian before, he was still a commander. However, based on Duan Lingtian's strength was comparable to Chen Xianba. Duan Lingtian might even be stronger than Chen Xianba. In other words, even if the commander of the Black Armored Army wanted to pursue the matter, he might not be able to do anything to Duan Lingtian, unless Chen Xianba reported this matter to the city governor of Bloody Spectre City. However, if news of this reached the ears of the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, he would not hold Duan Lingtian accountable as long as Duan Lingtian did not do anything that would harm the interests of Bloody Spectre City. After all, in the eyes of the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, Duan Lingtian was not worth much. After all, Jin Xiaoping, who was killed by Duan Lingtian, could not be compared to Duan Lingtian. Therefore, even if Chen Xianba reported this matter to the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, he would not be able to do anything about it. The city governor of Bloody Spectre City was not surprised at all. After Chen Xianba left, everyone in the Valley of Ares turned to look at Duan Lingtian. "Captain Duan Lingtian, I didn't expect you to be so secretive. To think that Jin Xiaoping said you're a violet moon, heavenly celestial. He must be blind. That's right. That Jin Xiaoping deserved to die. It's his greatest fortune to die in your hands, Captain Duan Lingtian. Captain Hu Ji and Kai Wenyu immediately flew forward and stood in front of Duan Lingtian. They seemed to be very enthusiastic. Duan Lingtian sneered inwardly when he saw Hu Ji and Kai Wenyu's attitude. When Jian Xiaoping had said he was only a violet moon heavenly celestial, these two fellows had turned hostile faster than flipping the pages of a book. They were just short of telling him that they did not want to be friends with Duan Lingtian. Due to this reason, Duan Lingtian completely ignored their enthusiasm. Ignoring Hu Ji and Kai Wenyu's embarrassment, Duan Lingtian flew up to the other two captains, Zhao Dongxing and Qin Yu, and greeted them. Captain Zhao Dongxing, Captain Qin Yu, I'm in a hurry to cultivate. I'll take my leave first. Take care, Captain Duan Lingtian. Zhao Dongxing and Qin Yu hurriedly replied. Previously, Duan Lingtian was only an ordinary captain to them. However, at this moment, they no longer dared to treat Duan Lingtian as an ordinary captain. After the battle earlier, they could see that Duan Lingtian's strength was not weak at all. Based on what they saw, Duan Lingtian's strength was not inferior to the Black Dragon Army's Lord Commander. After greeting Zhao Dongxing and Qin Yu, Duan Lingtian turned to look at the Black Dragon Army's soldiers. Under their excited gazes, Duan Lingtian nodded at them before he left the Valley of Ares. Whoosh! Whoosh! As soon as Duan Lingtian left, Hu Ji and Kai Wenyu followed suit. After all, they were in an awkward situation. They took the initiative to greet Duan Lingtian and even tried to flatter him. However, Duan Lingtian ignored them. Although they were dissatisfied with this, they didn't dare to show it. Based on the strength that Duan Lingtian had displayed earlier, Duan Lingtian was not someone they could afford to offend. After Qin Yu and Zhao Dongxing left, the soldiers of the Black Dragon Army in the Valley of the War God were like wild horses that had broken free of their reins. I didn't expect our new captain, Duan Lingtian, to be so powerful. I'm afraid his strength is not inferior to the Lord Commander's. A centurion was the first to exclaim. His words immediately gained the approval of many people. Indeed. I wonder why someone as powerful as Duan Lingtian would want to join the Black Dragon Army? Didn't you hear him say that he's looking for a place to cultivate? Apart from the City Lord's cultivation room, the tents of the Black Dragon Army's generals and Kiliarchs, and the tents of the Silverworm Army's generals and Kiliarchs are the best places to cultivate. Now that you mention the Silverworm Army, I'm curious. When the Silverworm Army finds out that we have a Chiliarch who isn't any weaker than our Black Dragon Army's Lord Commander, what expression will they have? It'll definitely be exciting. In the Valley of Ares, the Black Dragon Army was in an uproar. None of them left even after a long time had passed. Their conversation revolved around the new Chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army. At this moment, Chen Xianba, the commander of the Black Dragon Army, who had left the Valley of Ares and the Black Dragon Army's camp, entered Bloody Spectre City and made his way to the city governor's mansion. He went to look for the city governor of Bloody Spectre City. The city governor of Bloody Spectre City was Lu Fenggu. He was a tall and majestic middle-aged man. When Chen Xianba arrived, he was cultivating but not in closed-door cultivation. When he heard Chen Xianba's arrival, he immediately stopped cultivating and came out to greet Chen Xianba. Xianba, why are you in such a hurry to look for me? Is there something urgent? In the main hall of the city lord's mansion, Lu Fenggu sat at the head of the table and looked at Chen Xuanba, who was sitting below him. Chen Xianba was one of the two generals under his command. He was in charge of the Black Dragon Army and had always been cautious and conscientious. He had never made a mistake. For this reason, he liked this subordinate very much. Moreover, after so many years of working together, he no longer treated Chen Xianba as an outsider. Lord City Governor. Chen Xuanba went straight to the point. Didn't I announce that anyone who finds the identity medallion of the Black Dragon Army's fallen Chiliarch will become the new Chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army? I heard about that. Lu Fenggu nodded. He asked in surprise, What? Did someone find it? I heard that the Chiliarch under your command had accidentally entered the little world in the mountain ridge to the south of Bloody Spectre City. That's why he died. What? He didn't enter the little world? Lu Fenggu's curiosity was piqued as he asked. He died in the little world. Someone brought his identity token out of the little world, Chen Xianba said. Lu Fenggu nodded. What? As soon as Chen Xianba finished speaking, Lu Fenggu rose to his feet in shock. He stared at Chen Xianba with burning eyes as he asked, Xianba, are you sure? Yes. Chen Xianba nodded. Then, he repeated what Duan Lingtian had told him to Lu Fenggu. After that, I went to the south and discovered that the entrance to the little world had indeed disappeared. Chen Xianba replied. That little world was left behind by a celestial king from the blissful sect? Lu Fenggu's eyes widened in shock as he muttered to himself. No wonder so many powerhouses from high-rank celestial kingdoms couldn't decipher the secret of the little world. As it turns out, it's a little world left behind by a celestial king. The blissful sect is much stronger than a high-rank celestial kingdom. A hint of reverence could be seen in his eyes when he reached the end of his sentence. He was filled with reverence for the blissful sect. In his opinion, even a high-rank celestial kingdom was something he could only look up to, let alone the blissful sect that was much stronger than a high-rank celestial kingdom. But, from what you've just said, your new Chiliarch is quite lucky to be able to come out of that small world alive. Lu Fenggu said, Lord City Governor, I'm here for him. I saw him make a move today. He's not any weaker than me. Chapter 2606. What? His strength is on par with yours? Lu Fenggu's eyes widened in shock when he heard Chen Xianba's words. Yes. Chen Xianba nodded. Then, he recounted everything that had happened in the Valley of Aries to Lu Fenggu. Then, he took out a celestial talisman and crushed it. In just an instant whoosh, accompanied by a soft sound, a light screen appeared out of thin air in this huge hall. On it was a constantly changing mirror image. The mirror image was the scene of the battle between Duan Lingtian and Jian Xiaoping in the Valley of Aries. It began with Jian Xiaoping's first attack that ended in failure. Jian Xiaoping's second attack that ended in failure as well. Then, the young man in purple, who stood with his hands behind his back like a god, raised the huge sword under his feet and shot out a dazzling sword light. Then, he pressed down on Jian Xiaoping with the body of the sword. In just a blink of an eye, Jian Xiaoping exploded into a mist of blood. Gasp! After watching the mirror image that Chen Xianba had recorded with a celestial talisman, even Lu Fenggu, the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. Indeed, his strength is on par with yours. Lu Fenggu's expression was solemn as he spoke. Naturally, there were many things Lu Fenggu did not say. He saw the purple-clad young man's calm expression when he made his move. It did not seem as though he had used his full strength. There was another thing. From the beginning until the end, the purple-clad young man did not use any celestial weapons. I wonder what my chances of winning are if I were to fight him, Lu Fenggu thought to himself. After a while, Lu Fenggu looked at Chen Xianba and asked solemnly, Xianba, what do you think this person wants from the Black Dragon Army? I've asked him about this before. He said he's looking for a place to cultivate. Chen Xianba replied. Looking for a place to cultivate? Lu Fenggu was stunned. The camp of the Black Dragon Army. Duan Lingtian was unaware that Chen Xianba, the commander of the Black Dragon Army, had gone to look for the city governor of Bloody Spectre City. After leaving the Valley of Aries, he returned to his tent and continued to cultivate. It's a pity I don't have a graded cultivation method in the Devata realms. Otherwise, the assist-type divine ability, the elementary devouring tactic, that I cast with my celestial origin energy would be able to raise my strength by more than 2 levels. Duan Lingtian sighed. When Hua Lao, the pagoda spirit of the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda, was still alive, he had told Duan Lingtian that the assist-type divine ability, the elementary devouring tactic, he had obtained was considered a powerful divine ability even in the Devata realms. However, the assist-type divine abilities in the Devata realms could only be fully unleashed by one's celestial origin energy that had been tempered by a graded cultivation method. In other words, although Duan Lingtian had mastered the assist-type divine ability, the elementary devouring tactic, his celestial origin energy was still not tempered by a graded cultivation method in the Devata realms. Due to this reason, the strength of the assist-type divine ability was limited. Once he cultivated a graded cultivation method in the Devata realms and tempered his celestial origin energy, the strength of the assist-type divine ability, the elementary devouring tactic, would be much stronger than the current elementary devouring tactic. I heard from the waiter that the city governor of Bloody Spectre City has a graded cultivation method in the Devata realms. However, it's said that in the entire Bloody Spectre City, only the city governor, the Black Dragon Army, and the Silverworm Army's commanders have cultivated this technique. Duan Lingtian's eyes flashed as he muttered to himself, in the Devata realms, there's no doubt the importance of a graded cultivation method. The most basic function of a graded cultivation method in the Devata realms is to temper one's celestial origin energy. Most importantly, it can increase a person's cultivation speed. The better the cultivation method, the faster the speed at which one can increase their cultivation. Perhaps I should try and see if I can obtain the cultivation method from the city governor of Bloody Spectre City. When Duan Ling Tian reached the end of his sentence, his eyes began to shine brightly. Once he was able to obtain that cultivation technique, his cultivation speed would increase even further. Of course, he also knew that not everyone would be able to obtain that cultivation technique. In Bloody Spectre City, only the city governor of Bloody Spectre City and the commanders of the Black Dragon Army and the Silverworm Army had cultivated the cultivation method. With my current strength, I might not be able to defeat Lu Fenggu if I fight him with my full strength. However, it's not realistic for me to use brute force to obtain the cultivation method from him, Duan Ling Tian thought to himself. Duan Ling Tian sighed inwardly. In fact, ever since Duan Ling Tian had left the little world behind by the Celestial King from the Blissful Sect, he had discovered that he was now a Celestial King. Now that he had become a Blue Moon Heavenly Celestial, even the commanders of the Black Dragon Army and the Silverworm Army and the city governor of Bloody Spectre City might not be a match for him. However, it was impossible for him to replace the commanders of the Black Dragon Army and the Silverworm Army. After all, to become the commander of the Black Dragon Army and the Silverworm Army, one had to be acknowledged by the city governor of Bloody Spectre City. As for the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, even if Duan Ling Tian was stronger than the city governor, it was impossible for him to force the city governor to become the commander of the Black Dragon Army and Silverworm Army. It was even more impossible for him to kill the city governor and seize control of Bloody Spectre City. After all, the city governor of Bloody Spectre City was backed by the 9 Spectres County. If Duan Ling Tian wanted to become the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, he had to be acknowledged by the 9 Spectres County. If he forced the city governor of Bloody Spectre City to submit to him, the city governor of Bloody Spectre City could easily send a message to the 9 Spectres County to send reinforcements to deal with him. If Duan Ling Tian killed the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, the 9 Spectres County would not let him off. For this reason, Duan Ling Tian could only be a captain of the Black Dragon Army. This was the only way he could survive in Bloody Spectre City. Duan Ling Tian had thought about going to 9 Spectres County or somewhere bigger than 9 Spectres County. However, he felt he was still lacking in strength. If he was attacked by someone stronger than him on his way to 9 Spectres County or somewhere bigger than 9 Spectres County, it would be difficult for him to survive. For this reason, Duan Lingtian's plan was to improve his strength. Once he was certain that he had the ability to protect himself, he would leave Bloody Spectre City and head to a broader stage to increase his strength. Currently, Duan Lingtian was not carefree. He had too many responsibilities on his shoulders. He was no longer living purely for himself. He was also living for his family and his friends. Cultivation methods. Cultivation methods from the Devata realms. Since Duan Ling Tian could not stop himself from thinking about the cultivation methods in the Devata realms, he could not calm himself down to cultivate for a long time. In the end, he decided to stop cultivating and left his tent. Commander. When Duan Ling Tian walked out of his tent, he saw Chen Xianba, the commander of the Black Dragon Army, who had just returned. Captain Duan Ling Tian. Chen Xianba walked up to Duan Ling Tian and greeted him politely. From the beginning until the end, he did not act like he was in a superior position. Instead, he greeted Duan Ling Tian as an equal. The reason he acted this way was naturally because he had witnessed Duan Ling Tian's strength that was not inferior to his own. Commander, I heard that there's a yellow-grade cultivation method in Bloody Spectre City? Duan Lingtian asked bluntly as he looked at Chen Xianba. The yellow-grade cultivation method he was referring to was the one the city governor of Bloody Spectre City possessed. In the Devata realms, similar to celestial methods and divine abilities, cultivation methods were divided into many grades. Among them, yellow-grade cultivation methods were the worst. Naturally, it was only the worst among the graded cultivation methods in the Devata realms. It was much better than cultivation methods that were not graded at all. Duan Lingtian's 9 Dragons War Sovereign technique was not graded at all in the Devata realms. Although he could continue cultivating with it, his cultivation speed was much slower than other graded cultivation methods. Moreover, the 9 Dragons War Sovereign technique could not temper his celestial origin energy, so he could use his assist-type divine abilities to boost his strength.
Yes.
Chen Xianba nodded. That cultivation method was given to Lord Governor of Bloody Spectre City by the County Governor of 9 Spectres County. In Bloody Spectre City, only Lord Governor, the commander of the Silverworm Army, and the Golden Serpent Guards have cultivated that cultivation method. The Golden Serpent Guards? Duan Lingtian was slightly surprised, since he did not know the Golden Serpent Guards who followed the city governor of Bloody Spectre City had cultivated the same cultivation method. Yes. Chen Xianba nodded. Does this mean the reason the 100 Golden Serpent Guards are all Golden Celestials is because of the yellow-grade cultivation method? Previously, when Duan Lingtian heard from the waiter that all 100 members of the Golden Snake Guards were Golden Celestials, he was shocked. After all, the Black Dragon Army and the Silverworm Army only had slightly more than 10 Golden Celestials each. 100 Golden Serpent Guards? However, Chen Xianba shook his head when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. 100 Golden Serpent Guards is just a rumor. In fact, there are only 18 Golden Serpent Guards by Lord City Governor's side. Although there are only 18 Golden Serpent Guards, their strength far surpasses the captains of the Black Dragon Army and the Silverworm Army. Chen Xianba paused for a moment before he added, Naturally, that doesn't include you, Captain Duan Lingtian. Commander, if I want that cultivation method, will Lord Governor be willing to teach it to me? Chapter 2607. It's very difficult. In response to Duan Lingtian's question, Chen Xianba replied truthfully, Lord City Governor values that cultivation method a lot. Unless the person's cultivation base has reached a certain level and he can trust the person completely, he won't easily pass it to them. Chen Xianba looked at Duan Lingtian meaningfully before he said, Duan Lingtian, your cultivation base should be sufficient. However, if you're willing to stay in the Black Dragon Army for a few decades, or even 100 years, Lord City Governor might be willing to pass the cultivation method to you. A few decades, or even 100 years. Duan Lingtian shook his head when he heard Chen Xianba's words. Let alone the Black Dragon Army, it was impossible for him to stay in Bloody Spectre City for a few decades, or even 100 years. Forget it. Even if I don't have a graded cultivation method for now, with my 99 heavenly veins, my cultivation speed won't be any slower than the commander of the Black Dragon Army and the city governor of Bloody Spectre City. After Duan Lingtian figured this out, he no longer bothered himself with this matter. For the time being, he did not have a graded cultivation technique to cultivate, but he had 99 heavenly veins that ordinary people could only dream of. In the Devata realms, the more heavenly veins one had, the more benefits one would gain. Not only would he be able to circulate his celestial origin energy faster during a battle, but his cultivation speed would also be faster. In his opinion, he would be able to increase his cultivation base. As long as his strength increased, it would be much easier for him to obtain a graded cultivation method after he left Bloody Spectre City. In Bloody Spectre City, a yellow-grade cultivation method was like a peerless treasure. However, in the 9 Spectres County, there were many forces that had a graded cultivation method. Moreover, I heard from the waiter that there are also graded cultivation methods in the auction house in the 9 Spectres County that can be auctioned off at a higher price. With this thought in mind, Duan Lingtian felt much more at ease. After bidding farewell to Chen Xianba, Duan Lingtian returned to his tent. This time, he quickly calmed down and immersed himself in his cultivation. After cultivating for about an hour, A voice rang in the air. "Lord Captain." A condensed voice penetrated Duan Ling Tian's tent and entered his ears. Not only that, but it also woke Duan Ling Tian, who was in the midst of cultivating. "HM?" When Duan Ling Tian opened his eyes, he frowned slightly. In the end, he still walked out of the tent. Based on the voice, he could tell it belonged to one of his subordinates, a centurion. It was the centurion he had injured earlier. "What's the matter?" Duan Ling Tian could hear the urgency in the centurion's voice. It was clear the centurion had something urgent to tell him. "Lord Captain, I'm here to report to you that 2 of our centurions and 7 of our decurions have been grounded in a restaurant in Bloody Spectre City by Captain Yang Kong Ping of the Silverworm Army. Yang Kong Ping has specifically asked for you to personally bring them back." The centurion quickly explained the purpose of his visit to Duan Ling Tian when he saw him. "You mean, the 2 centurions and 7 decurions under my command were grounded by the Chiliarch of the Silverworm Army?" Duan Lingtian's expression darkened immediately. Previously, when he was in the Valley of Ares, the Black Dragon Army's soldiers trusted him. Moreover, they had done so much for him that he was touched. At that time, he had accepted them as his subordinates. Now, someone was telling him Duan Lingtian's subordinates had been grounded by the captain of the Silverworm Army? Instantly, Duan Ling Tian's heart was burning with rage. "Bring me there." As soon as Duan Ling Tian gave the order, the centurion rose into the air and led the way. "What's your name?" Duan Ling Tian asked the centurion who was leading the way. "Lord Captain, my name is Tong Zheng." Although the centurion was injured by Duan Ling Tian not long ago and had yet to recover from his injuries, he did not complain at all. Instead, he was still respectful to Duan Ling Tian, because he knew very well in his heart that this Chiliarch had only hurt him because he deserved a beating. "Tell me about the conflict between you and the Silverworm Army." Although the Black Dragon Army doesn't get along well with the Silverworm Army, I don't think the captain of the Silverworm Army would bully you for no reason, right? Duan Ling Tian asked. "Lord Captain, it's like this." Faced with Duan Ling Tian's question, Tong Zheng explained everything in detail as he led the way. He also told Duan Ling Tian the whole story. As it turned out, this matter had something to do with him as well. Today, after he had killed Jian Xiaoping in the Valley of Ares, his 3 centurions and 7 decurions, including Tong Zheng, had gone to a restaurant in Bloody Spectre City to have a drink to vent their joy. Who knew that when they were talking about what had happened in the Valley of War God, a Chiliarch and a few centurions of the Silverworm Army happened to overhear them. The captain of the Silverworm Army told them that they were bragging about their new captain. Due to the presence of the captain of the Silverworm Army, the other customers in the restaurant also agreed that Tong Zheng and the others were bragging. Naturally, Tong Zheng and the others felt indignant when they were accused by so many people. However, in the end, their voices were drowned out by the voices of the other customers. At this moment, they had no choice but to leave the restaurant under the disdainful gazes of the other customers. However, someone refused to let them leave. The person who refused to let them leave was none other than the captain of the Silverworm Army. "Only one of you can leave. The one who leaves, go and inform your new captain of the Silverworm Army and ask him to come here and get his men. Tell him that I, Yang Kong Ping, the captain of the Silverworm Army, have detained his men. I, Yang Kong Ping, would like to see what kind of person the Chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army is." These were the exact words of the captain of the Silverworm Army. The 10 people under Duan Lingtian's command were powerless in front of the captain of the Silverworm Army. For this reason, only 9 of them were left behind. Tong Zheng was the only one who left the restaurant and returned to the Black Dragon Army's camp to look for Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian knew what happened after that. Captain of the Silverworm Army, Yang Kong Ping? How awe-inspiring. Duan Ling Tian narrowed his eyes after listening to Centurion Tong Zheng's narration. A cold gleam flashed across his eyes. At this moment, although Duan Lingtian's expression was calm, Tong Zheng, who was leading the way, could feel the coldness behind him. It was as if a gust of cold air had attacked him from behind, causing him to shiver uncontrollably. Lord Chiliarch is angry. At this moment, it was not difficult for Tong Zheng to sense Duan Ling Tian's anger. "Lord Captain," Tong Zheng continued to say before they arrived at Bloody Spectre City, Captain Yang Kong Ping of the Silverworm Army is strong. He's ranked in the top 3 among the 10 captains in the Silverworm Army. In addition, he has another identity. Other than being a Chiliarch of the Silverworm Army, he is also the brother-in-law of the commander of the Silverworm Army. For this reason, even our previous captain, Captain Huang Jibing, didn't dare to provoke him even though his strength was on par with Yang Kong Ping. When Tong Zheng reached the end of his sentence, he turned around to look at Duanling Tian. So, if it's possible, later on, Chiliarch, you should display a little of your strength to intimidate Yang Kong Ping and bring our men away. Try not to hurt Yang Kong Ping. The commander of the Silverworm Army is very protective of his men. Tong Zheng's heart skipped a beat when he saw Duanling Tian's expressionless face. He hastily added, "Of course, I'm not saying this to question your strength. I just don't want to cause you too much trouble because of our matter." Tong Zheng had gained a better understanding of Duanling Tian's strength in the Valley of Aries. Duanling Tian knew Duanling Tian could easily defeat Yang Kong Ping, the captain of the Silverworm Army. However, it was hard to say if Duanling Tian could defeat the commander of the Silverworm Army. "I know what I'm doing," Duanling Tian replied nonchalantly when he heard Tong Zheng's words. From the beginning until the end, Duanling Tian's expression remained calm. Soon after, Duanling Tian and Tong Zheng arrived in the vicinity of Bloody Spectre City. After entering Bloody Spectre City, Duanling Tian, who was furious, followed Tong Zheng to the entrance of a rather luxurious restaurant in Bloody Spectre City. A plaque with the words Lai Feng Restaurant was hung on the entrance of the restaurant. Based on the strength of the words, it was obvious it was written by a man. Now, the entrance of the restaurant was crowded with people, both on the ground and in the air. Without exception, they were all stretching their heads to look inside the restaurant, as if there was something interesting going on inside. "He's here. He's here. It's the centurion of the Black Dragon Army who just left. He's back." The purple-clad young man next to him is the new Chiliarch behind him and the 9 men from the Black Dragon Army in the restaurant. When the people outside the restaurant saw Tong Zheng, the people outside the restaurant also shifted their attention to Tong Zheng and Duanling Tian. Even more people were sizing up Duanling Tian from top to bottom, as though they had discovered a new continent. "Lord Captain, please enter." Tong Zheng stood at the entrance of the restaurant respectfully and made way for Duanling Tian. Duanling Tian walked forward with a calm expression. Everywhere he passed, the crowd that filled the entrance of the restaurant would open up a path for him, not daring to hesitate. After all, the purple-clad young man was a captain of the Black Dragon Army. He was someone they could not afford to offend. Tong Zheng followed Duanling Tian into the restaurant with Duanling Tian. "It's you?" Chapter 2608. There were only slightly more than 10 people in the Lai Feng restaurant's main hall. It was obvious the restaurant had been cleared beforehand. There were more than 10 people in the hall, and only one young man was sitting in front of a table. Behind him, 3 figures stood straight like javelins, emitting a murderous aura. The young man was dressed casually. He was tall and had a determined expression on his face. He looked majestic as though he was the most powerful person in the world. The 3 people behind him were dressed in silver armor. It was the standard armor of the Silverworm Army in Bloody Spectre City. Based on the insignia on their chests, one could tell they were the captains of the Silverworm Army. They were the centurions of the Silverworm Army. Apart from that, there were 9 people standing in front of the 4 men. All 9 of them were wearing black armor. It was the armor of the Black Dragon Army in Bloody Spectre City. Based on the insignia on their chests, one could tell they were the captains of the Silverworm Army. Among the 9 people, there were 2 centurions and 7 decurions from the Black Dragon Army. They were none other than the 9 captains of the Black Dragon Army. In this way, the identity of the only young man sitting in the restaurant's lobby was also on the verge of being revealed. He was none other than the captain of the Silverworm Army, Yang Kong Ping. "It's you." When Duanling Tian stepped into the restaurant's lobby and appeared in front of more than 10 people, a middle-aged centurion of the Silverworm Army standing behind Yang Kong Ping cried out in surprise when he saw Duanling Tian. His exclamation was filled with waves of shock and disbelief. It was as though he had just seen something terrifying. When the middle-aged centurion from the Silverworm army cried out in surprise, Duan Lingtian's voice rang in the air. Duan Lingtian, who had just entered the restaurant's lobby, instinctively looked in the direction of the voice. He saw the person with just a glance and recognized him. He recognized the centurion from the Silverworm army. It was one of the two centurions from the Silverworm army he had met at the Celestial Ascension Pool when he had just ascended. The other centurion from the Silverworm army had tried to kill Duan Lingtian with a soul attack. What a coincidence. We meet again, Duan Lingtian said indifferently as he looked at the middle-aged centurion from the Silverworm army. Lord Captain, Lord Captain. At the same time, the 9 soldiers from the Black Dragon army bowed respectfully as they looked at Duan Lingtian. He's the captain of the Black Dragon army who replaced Huang Jibing. The centurion of the Silverworm army who had met Duan Lingtian at the Celestial Ascension Pool was shocked when he saw the 9 soldiers from the Black Dragon army greeting Duan Lingtian and addressing him as Lord Captain. He had also heard the voice of Tong Zheng, the centurion of the Black Dragon army, outside. Because of this, he knew that the first person to step into the restaurant would be the Chiliarch of the Black Dragon army who had replaced Huang Jibing. However, when he saw the first person who stepped into the restaurant and recognized him, his heart wavered again. He could not figure it out at all. How could a person who had just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven become a captain of the Black Dragon army? Moreover, the soldiers of the Black Dragon army seemed to respect him. He was from the Silverworm army. Naturally, he knew. It was impossible to obtain the respect of the soldiers of the Black Dragon army just because their new captain had found the identity token of their previous captain. If that was the case, it would not be enough to obtain their respect. If one wanted to obtain the respect of the soldiers of the Black Dragon army, one must possess strength that was on par with one's position. Now, the scenes in front of him confirmed his suspicions. The person before him was indeed the captain of the Black Dragon army who had replaced Huang Jibing. However, the fact that he killed Zhong Gang proved that his strength is not inferior to an ordinary Golden Immortal Realm expert. I forgot about that. With his strength, it's not difficult for him to secure his position as a captain of the Black Dragon army. When the centurion recalled the scene of Duan Lingtian killing Zhong Gang, who was also a centurion of the Silverworm army, he felt relieved. You're the new captain of the Black Dragon army who replaced Huang Jibing? Yang Kongping, the captain of the Silverworm army, asked in a questioning tone as he stared at Duan Lingtian coldly. However, Duan Lingtian only glanced at Yang Kongping indifferently before he shifted his gaze to the 9 soldiers of the Black Dragon army. He looked at the 9 soldiers and asked, "Are all of you all right? Did they touch any of you?" A cold gleam flashed in Duan Lingtian's eyes when he reached the end of his question. His tone turned low as well. "Lord Captain, we're fine. We're fine." Duan Lingtian's 9 subordinates shook their heads. Then, they took a few steps forward and stood behind Duan Lingtian with Tong Zheng. They stared at the people from the Silverworm army with piercing eyes. Good. Very good. Very good. Yang Kongping, the commander of the Silverworm army who was completely ignored by Duan Lingtian, had a dark expression on his face. He glared at Duan Lingtian and said coldly, "Even your Black Dragon army's captain, He Jian Kuan, wouldn't dare to be as arrogant as you are in front of me." He Jian Kuan was the most powerful person among the 10 captains of the Black Dragon army. He was known as the Black Dragon army's captain. Naturally, in the eyes of the soldiers of the Black Dragon army who went to the Valley of Ares today, this was all in the past. The current Black Dragon army's captain was Duan Lingtian, the new captain of the Black Dragon army. Naturally, Yang Kongping was unaware of this. Until now, he still did not think Duan Lingtian, the new captain of the Black Dragon army, would have the strength to kill Jian Xiaoping in one hit. After all, even if Jian Xiaoping was not as strong as the commander of the Black Dragon army and the commander of the Silverworm army, he was not much weaker. In his opinion, a powerhouse with such strength would never lower himself to become a Chiliarch in the Black Dragon army. "Fortunately, you didn't touch my men." Facing the furious Yang Kongping, Duan Lingtian still didn't have the intention to pay attention to him. He just coldly glanced at him and lightly said, "Otherwise, you will die today. Luckily, you didn't touch my men. Otherwise, you will die today." As soon as Duan Lingtian said this, the restaurant fell into a dead silence. Even outside the restaurant, there was a deathly silence. Now, the crowd outside the restaurant could clearly see and hear the situation in the restaurant's lobby. Hearing Duan Lingtian's words, they were all dumbstruck. The new chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army is too strong, isn't he? This was the same thought that appeared in their minds at the same time. After all, Yang Kongping, the chiliarch of the Silverworm Army, who was sitting in the restaurant's lobby, was not an ordinary chiliarch of the Silverworm Army. Not only was he a chiliarch of the Silverworm Army, but he was also the brother-in-law of the commander of the Silverworm Army. For this reason, even the strongest chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army, He Jin Kuan, did not dare to offend Yang Kongping. For this reason, they were shocked by Duan Lingtian, the new chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army. What did you say? In the restaurant's lobby, Yang Kongping finally regained his senses and stood up abruptly. When he looked at Duan Lingtian again, his eyes were cold and filled with killing intent. Even He Jin Kuan doesn't dare to speak to me like this. I think you're seeking death. Duan Lingtian ignored Yang Kongping's killing intent and continued to speak nonchalantly. Today, you'll cripple one of your arms, and this matter will come to an end. If you don't do it, I won't just cripple one of your arms. At that time, I'll cripple one of your arms and one of your legs, just like how I crippled the Decurion of the Silverworm Army. His words were also very clear. Yang Kongping, cripple one of your arms, and this matter will come to an end. If you don't do it yourself and let me do it for you, I'll cripple one of your arms and one of your legs. Domineering. Domineering. This new chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army is too domineering. That's Yang Kongping we're talking about, but he doesn't seem to have any scruples at all. In my opinion, this isn't domineering, he's seeking death. However, based on his words, he even crippled the Decurion of the Silverworm Army's arm and one of his legs. Outside the restaurant, the onlookers discussed among themselves. In the restaurant, the 10 soldiers of the Black Dragon Army, standing behind Duan Lingtian, looked at each other. They did not expect this. Their chiliarch had even crippled the Decurion of the Silverworm Army. Crippled the Decurion of the Silverworm Army's arm and one of his legs? Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Yang Kongping's eyes narrowed immediately as a thought appeared in his mind. Half a month ago, one of the celestial ascension pools that his subordinates were in charge of had an ascender who seemed to have obtained a shocking legacy from the mundane realm. Not only did the ascender cripple one of his Decurions, but he even killed one of his centurions. Yang Kongping thought about it carefully. Ever since he became a chiliarch of the Silverworm Army, he had never heard of a deaconess in the Silverworm Army being crippled. Lord Chiliarch. Chai Ming, the centurion of the Silverworm Army standing behind Yang Kongping, said, "This person is the one who killed Zhonggang and crippled Wang Wei half a month ago. He's the one who ascended from the celestial ascension pool." Zhonggang. Wang Wei. As soon as Chai Ming finished speaking, the other 2 centurions of the Silverworm Army, standing next to him, widened their eyes in shock. Earlier, when Chai Ming saw the chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army standing in front of him, he exclaimed in surprise. How did Chai Ming know the new chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army? Realization dawned on them when they heard Chai Ming's words. Chapter 2609. It's him? Upon hearing Chai Ming's words, even Yang Kongping, the chiliarch of the Silverworm Army, could not help but narrow his eyes as his heart trembled violently. Zhonggang was a centurion under his command. Half a month ago, he died at the hands of an ascender. Wang Wei was a deaconess under his command. Half a month ago, one of his arms and one of his legs were crippled by the same ascender. Now, Yang Kongping finally understood. Why did this chiliarch of the Black Armored Army say that he had crippled a deaconess of the Silver Dragon Army? This was because this chiliarch of the Black Armored Army was the person who had ascended half a month ago. It was also the ascender that the Silver Dragon Army had spent half a month searching for. Ascender? Immortal Ascension Pool? At the same time, when the 10 Black Armored Army soldiers standing behind Duan Lingtian heard the words of the Silverworm Army's centurion Chai Ming, their gazes simultaneously landed on the purple silhouette in front of them. Their hearts trembled. If what the centurion of the Silverworm army said was true in that case, their new captain was actually an ascender who had just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven half a month ago. Lord Chiliarch is actually an ascender? And he's not an ascender from the Golden Immortals Immortal Ascension Pool, but an ascender from the Heavenly Immortals Immortal Ascension Pool. How is this possible? This centurion of the Silver Dragon army is lying, right? The 10 soldiers from the Black Dragon army whispered to each other among themselves, but they all came to the same conclusion. The centurion of the Silver Dragon army was lying. If the other party had said that their Chiliarch had ascended from the Golden Immortals Immortal Ascension Pool, they might have believed it. This was because those who ascended to the Golden Celestial Ascension Pool were 9 tribulation bodiless celestials when they were still in the mundane realm. Once they ascended to the Golden Celestial Ascension Pool, they would immediately become Golden Celestials. Those who ascended from the Celestial Ascension Pool were only eminent celestials when they were still in the mundane realms. When eminent celestials ascended to the Celestial Ascension Pool, they could only become heavenly immortals. Moreover, he was a Scarlet Moon heavenly immortal. Most importantly, not only did this centurion of the Silverworm army say that their Chiliarch ascended from the Immortal Ascension Pool, he also said that their Chiliarch ascended to the spirit overarching heaven half a month ago. Half a month ago, those who had ascended to the Celestial Ascension Pool were considered monsters amongst monsters if they were able to become Orange Moon Celestial Immortals. However, even the Orange Moon Celestial could not possibly possess such frightening strength as their Chiliarch. They had witnessed the strength of their Chiliarch with their own eyes. Even if he wasn't as strong as the commander of the Black Dragon army, he wasn't too far off. Because of this, the 10 soldiers of Duan Lingtian's Black Dragon army did not believe the words of the centurion. Ascender? And he just ascended to the Immortal Ascension Pool half a month ago? Outside the entrance of the restaurant, the crowd of onlookers clearly heard the words of the centurion of the Silverworm army, chiming. Is this centurion of the Silver Dragon army crazy? I think he's out of his mind. How could someone who just ascended to the Immortal Ascension Pool half a month ago become a Chiliarch of the Black Dragon army? That's right. Even if this person was lucky enough to find the identity token of Captain Huang Jibing in the Black Dragon army and become a Chiliarch of the Black Dragon army, how could 10 soldiers of the Black Dragon army treat a heavenly celestial so respectfully? The fact that the 10 soldiers of the Black Dragon army treat him so respectfully means his cultivation base is at least at the Golden Celestial stage. The crowd of onlookers outside the restaurant discussed among themselves. Similar to the 10 soldiers of Duan Lingtian's Black Dragon army, they thought the centurion of the Silverworm army, Chiming, was spouting nonsense. Chiming's words were impossible. Just when the 10 Black Dragon army soldiers under Duan Lingtian's command and the onlookers outside were certain centurion Chiming of the Silverworm army was talking nonsense, a voice rang out. Ha 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 ha, Yang Kong Ping, the Chiliarch of the Silverworm army, suddenly burst out laughing in the restaurant's lobby. Yang Kongping's laughter had successfully attracted the attention of everyone except Duan Lingtian. He fixed his eyes on Duan Lingtian and said excitedly, Duan Lingtian, you're the only one who can do this. It's really a case of searching high and low only to find it by chance. Brat, if you hid in the Black Dragon army's camp, I might not have known that you're in the Black Dragon army. Since you've delivered yourself to me, follow me back to the Silverworm army. The moment his words left his mouth, Yang Kong Ping's eyes that were staring at Duan Lingtian suddenly lit up as though he had just seen a peerless treasure. In his eyes, Duan Lingtian was indeed a peerless treasure. After all, he knew the Chiliarch of the Black Dragon army must have mastered a profound celestial method and divine ability that allowed him to possess strength comparable to a golden celestial even though he was just a crimson moon heavenly celestial. If Yang Kong Ping could obtain the celestial arts and divine abilities that the other party had mastered, then his strength would also increase to a very exaggerated level. If the commander of the Silverworm army could obtain the celestial methods and divine abilities, then the strength of the Silverworm army's commander would increase by leaps and bounds. At that time, the commander of the Silverworm army might even be able to go to Nine Spectres County and look for the county governor of Nine Spectres County to become the city governor of Bloody Spectre City. He would never forget this. When he told the commander of the Silverworm army who was also his brother-in-law, about the Chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army, who was also the one who ascended half a month ago, the commander of the Silverworm Army was very excited. For this reason, the Silverworm Army had been searching for the Chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army for more than half a month. Who would have thought? The Chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army had become a Chiliarch. Since you've delivered yourself to me, follow me back to the Silverworm Army. As soon as Yang Kongping finished speaking, boom, Yang Kongping's celestial core power, which had been accumulating in his body for a long time, suddenly whizzed out and dissipated on the surface of his body. It was as if a ball of flame had enveloped his entire body. He looked even more majestic and awe-inspiring, like a god of war. Bang! At the same time, Yang Kongping stomped his foot in the air, causing the air to tremble. A gust of wind swept up and blew away many tables and chairs in the restaurant. Whoosh! In the next instant, Yang Kongping pounced on Duan Lingtian like a tiger. He spread his arms wide open, but he did not use any killing techniques. He merely made a grabbing motion. It was obvious he wanted to capture Duan Lingtian. Yang Kongping did not want to kill Duan Lingtian. In his opinion, capturing the Chiliarch of the Silverworm Army was 1,000 times, no, 10,000 times better than killing the Chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army. At that time, Yang Kongping and the commander of the Silverworm Army would be able to obtain the celestial methods and divine abilities from the Chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army. As for his current identity as a Chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army, he couldn't care less about it. At most, he would wait until he captured him and brought him back to the camp of the Silverworm Army. Then, he would let the commander of the Silverworm Army, who was also his brother-in-law, deal with the commander of the Black Dragon Army. Be careful, Lord Chiliarch. Be careful, Lord Chiliarch. When Yang Kongping flew out and was about to reach Duan Lingtian, the 10 Black Dragon Army soldiers under Duan Lingtian finally regained their senses. They instinctively cried out in alarm to warn Duan Lingtian. When they saw Yang Kongping charging at them menacingly, they were so anxious that they had completely forgotten about the Chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army. This Chiliarch of theirs was much stronger than the other 9 Chiliarchs of the Black Dragon Army. On the other hand, Yang Kongping's strength was not comparable to Captain He Jin Kuan, the strongest person in the Silverworm Army other than their captain. When the 10 soldiers of the Black Dragon Army instinctively cried out to warn Duan Lingtian, whoosh, 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 the sound of swords whistling rang in the air. Under the watchful eyes of the others, Duan Lingtian, who was standing there calmly, suddenly emitted a white glow. It was the dazzling sword rays that shot out from his body. There were many sword rays. At first glance, there were at least 10,000 of them. Everyone's attention was attracted by the sword rays that shot out from Duan Lingtian's body. A shrill cry of agony suddenly rang in the air. The cry was so shrill that it caused everyone's hearts to tremble. They felt chills running down their spines. Bang! With another loud noise, the people present finally saw the situation in front of them clearly. They saw Yang Kongping, the Chiliarch of the Silverworm Army, who was charging at Duan Lingtian, had his right arm severed at the shoulder. When his right arm was severed, his entire body was sent flying like an arrow leaving the bow by Duan Lingtian's kick. It was obvious the shrill cry came from Yang Kongping. No! Yang Kongping, who was sent flying by Duan Lingtian's kick, could not help but let out another shrill cry when he saw the white sword rays shooting toward his severed arm. Although his arm was severed, it could be reattached as long as it was not damaged. However, if it was damaged, his arm would be crippled. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. A white sword ray shot out like a swarm of locusts, turning Yang Kongping's severed arm into a bloody mist. Only his palm was left. The reason his palm was not destroyed was due to the glove he was wearing. The glove was Yang Kongping's celestial weapon. Barf! Yang Kongping, who was already injured, could not help but spit out a mouthful of black and red blood when he saw his right arm was crippled. Kongping! A furious woman's voice rang in the air when Yang Kongping spat out the blood. Everyone only saw a flash in front of their eyes as a huge but agile female figure flashed out and appeared in the direction where Yang Kongping was flying and caught him. Chapter 26:10. Bang! As the huge yet agile female figure caught the flying Yang Kong Ping and landed on the ground, another earth-shattering bang suddenly came from the floor of the restaurant. The entire restaurant seemed to tremble violently. At the same time, the figure that caught Yang Kongping also showed up at the right time. Surprisingly, it was a tall and fat woman. The woman's height was not shorter than Yang Kongping. Her horizontal length was more than half of Yang Kongping's height. She looked like a mountain of flesh. Yang Kongping was being carried by her like a princess, just like a little doll. In terms of size, Yang Kongping was not even a third of the woman's size. It's the owner of Lai Feng Restaurant, Miao Lai Feng. This is my first time seeing the owner of Lai Feng Restaurant. Miao Lai Feng is not an ordinary person. She's the sister of Miao Lai Long, the commander of the Silverworm Army. I heard the plaque of Lai Feng Restaurant was personally written by the commander of the Silverworm Army. You can see how much he loves his sister. She's the wife of Yang Kongping, the chiliarch of the Silverworm Army. As soon as the woman appeared, a commotion broke out outside the restaurant. Duan Lingtian could not help but raise his eyebrows when he heard the commotion. His subordinates actually chose to drink in a restaurant owned by the family of the Silverworm Army? Wasn't he just looking for trouble for himself? You still have a leg. However, even if Duan Lingtian knew the tall and fat woman was the sister of the commander of the Silverworm Army, he did not intend to let her go. As soon as he finished speaking, he began to move again. It was as though he had transformed into an eagle hunting for its prey. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. When Duan Lingtian's figure flashed out, the sword under his feet once again emitted a series of ear-piercing sword-whistling sound. By the time everyone regained their senses, Duan Lingtian had already returned to his original spot and stood in front of the 10 Black Dragon Army soldiers. However, he did not come back alone. He was also carrying a person under his hand. It was none other than the captain of the Silverworm Army, Yang Kongping, who was in the woman's arms earlier. Kongping. When Duan Lingtian returned with Yang Kongping, the tall and fat woman, Miao Lai Feng, who was the sister of the Silverworm Army's commander, finally snapped out of her daze. She shouted anxiously as a murderous intent flashed across her face. Whoosh! In the next moment, Miao Laifeng's figure flashed as she charged toward Duan Lingtian. Boom, 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 boom. Miao Laifeng's mountain-like body. Just like the tanks in Duan Lingtian's previous life, they charged forward violently. Everywhere they passed, the void trembled, and bursts of deafening explosions rang out. Miao Laifeng's huge body seemed cumbersome, but when he moved, it was as if he had turned into a gust of wind. He was ridiculously fast. She's a golden celestial as well. Based on Miao Laifeng's speed, it was not difficult for Duan Lingtian to tell she was a golden celestial. However, her speed was slightly slower than Yang Kongping's. Buzz, 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 buzz. When Miao Laifeng approached Duan Lingtian, a short and wide saber that resembled a kitchen knife appeared in her hand. As soon as the saber appeared, it shone with a dazzling saber chi as it shot toward Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian could tell the saber in Miao Laifeng's hand was a celestial weapon when he sensed the aura from the saber. Humph! Duan Lingtian's eyes turned cold when he saw Miao Laifeng charging at him menacingly. He exerted force in his hand and swung Yang Kongping toward Miao Laifeng's saber. Duan Lingtian could tell Miao Laifeng was not weak at all. Miao Laifeng was not as strong as Yang Kongping. Despicable! Miao Laifeng let out a furious roar, but in the end, she could only withdraw her attack. As a result, she suffered quite a bit of backlash and was sent flying back over 10 steps before she managed to stabilize herself. She couldn't help but open her mouth and spit out a mouthful of blood. Whoosh! After forcing Miao Laifeng to retreat, Duan Lingtian no longer paid any attention to her. With just a thought, a sword ray shot out and severed Yang Kongping's left leg. Yang Kongping's severed leg fell to the ground with a thud. Yang Kongping once again let out a miserable shriek. When Duan Lingtian tossed Yang Kongping to Miao Laifeng, his eyes flashed coldly as he looked at Yang Kongping's severed leg. If you dare to destroy my husband's leg, I, Miao Lifeng, won't just make you pay with your life. I'll make your entire family pay with their lives. At this moment, Miao Lifeng, who had caught Yang Kongping, noticed Duan Lingtian's gaze. Her chubby face was filled with killing intent as she threatened him. Her voice was so cold that it felt as though she had fallen into an ice cellar. At this moment, Miao Lifeng was extremely anxious. Otherwise, it was impossible for her to say that she wanted Duan Lingtian's entire family to pay with their lives. After all, Duan Lingtian had just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven half a month ago. Even though Miao Lifeng had just shown herself, she had been observing everything that had happened from the shadows. It was only when she saw her husband's arm being crippled that she couldn't hold herself back anymore and rushed out. I'll be waiting. Duan Lingtian's eyes turned cold when he heard Miao Lifeng's threat. Then, he lifted his leg and his celestial origin energy surged out in reverse before he stomped on Yang Kongping's severed leg. No. Yang Kongping's eyes widened again. He cried out in panic before his body trembled violently and he passed out. Naturally, the body of a golden celestial was not that weak. The reason why Yang Kongping fainted was that he could not accept the truth in front of him. Subconsciously, he wanted to escape. Let's go back. After destroying Yang Kongping's arm and leg, Duan Lingtian glanced at Miao Lifeng, who was glaring at him like a venomous snake. Then, he turned around and called out to the 10 soldiers of the Black Dragon Army behind him. Outside the entrance of the restaurant, the crowd that was originally squeezed together very tacitly and obediently opened up a path for Duan Lingtian's group and sent them off with their gazes. Everyone only regained their senses when Duan Lingtian's group swaggered off and disappeared before their eyes. Heavens! The captain of the Black Dragon Army is too domineering, right? He broke an arm and a leg of the commander of the Silverworm Army's brother-in-law in front of the sister of the commander of the Silverworm Army. Even the commander of the Black Dragon Army wouldn't dare to do that, right? Where did he get the courage to do that? I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. There's no need to think about it. I'm afraid things are going to get interesting after today. The commander of the Silverworm Army, Miao Lilong, won't let this go. Of course. The owner of Lifeng Restaurant, Miao Lifeng, is Miao Lilong's sister. Moreover, she's Miao Lilong's only relative in this world. He won't let anything happen to his sister. The crowd of onlookers outside Lifeng Restaurant all had a feeling that a storm was coming and the city was about to be destroyed. The current calm was just the calm before the storm. Bang! Just as the group of people outside the restaurant were discussing animatedly, a loud sound suddenly came from inside the restaurant. Then, everyone saw a flash before their eyes. Whoosh! A huge figure was leading another figure out of the restaurant at an extremely fast speed. They rose into the air and flew northeast. In just a blink of an eye, they disappeared behind the clouds in the sky. It was as though they had never appeared before. Whoosh! 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 Another 3 sounds of wind whistling rang in the air. The 3 centurions of the Silverworm Army, including Chai Ming, had also left the restaurant and followed after them. At this moment, the 3 centurions of the Silverworm Army did not look too good. How could they look good? Their chiliarch, their superior, had 1 arm and 1 leg crippled right in front of their eyes. From the beginning until the end, they could not do anything. They did not even dare to do anything. After all, if their captain could not deal with this person, it was impossible for them to deal with him. Did Miao Lifeng bring her husband to the Silverworm Army's camp? Many of the onlookers outside of Lifeng Restaurant easily guessed this. The Silverworm Army and the Black Dragon Army are really going to fight this time. In the past, they've only had small conflicts. They've never caused such a huge commotion before. That's right. It's going to be really interesting this time. However, I really didn't expect the new chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army to be so powerful. He defeated the Silverworm Army's chiliarch, Yang Kongping, in just 1 move and crippled 1 of his arms. So what if he's strong? Is he stronger than the commander of the Silverworm Army? Of course, he's not stronger than the commander of the Silverworm Army. If he's stronger than the commander of the Silverworm Army, why would he lower himself to be a captain of the Black Dragon Army? Let's see if Qin Xianba, the commander of the Black Dragon Army, is able to protect him this time. I don't think so. It's fine if he's just causing trouble. However, this time, he actually crippled the arm and leg of the brother-in-law of the Silverworm Army's commander, Miao Lai Long. The commotion outside Lai Feng restaurant continued for a long time. As the crowd outside the Lai Feng restaurant dispersed, news of what had happened in the Lai Feng restaurant spread like wildfire across the entire Bloody Spectre City. In Bloody Spectre City, as long as they were not in closed-door cultivation or were not well informed, they had all heard about what had happened in Lai Feng restaurant. The new captain of the Black Dragon Army, Duan Ling Tian, had crippled Miao Lai Feng, the sister of the owner of Lai Feng restaurant and the commander of the Silverworm Army, in front of her. She was the sister of the commander of the Silverworm Army. Moreover, Duan Lingtian's arm and leg could not be reattached. I'm afraid Bloody Spectre City is going to change soon. This matter is too big. I wonder how the Black Dragon Army is going to deal with this. Duan Lingtian, the captain of the Black Dragon Army, is going to pay with his life. Chapter 26:11. What did it mean to become famous after a single battle? Currently, Duan Lingtian had become famous in Bloody Spectre City due to his battle with Yang Kongping, the captain of the Silverworm Army, in Lai Feng restaurant. Before today, no one in Bloody Spectre City knew about Duan Lingtian. However, after today, no one in Bloody Spectre City did not know about Duan Lingtian. Naturally, the battle between Duan Lingtian and Yang Kongping was one-sided. They did not even exchange blows. This was because when Yang Kongping made the first move to attack, Duan Lingtian controlled the sword formation and severed one of Yang Kongping's arms. From the beginning until the end, Yang Kongping did not even have time to dodge. Their strength was on a completely different level. While Bloody Spectre City was in an uproar, Duan Lingtian led 10 black generals and flew toward the Black Dragon Army's camp at a leisurely pace. All of you are really bold. You actually went to a restaurant owned by the sister of the commander of the Silverworm Army? Duan Lingtian said to the 10 black generals behind him. Hee. Tong Zheng chuckled. Centurion Tong Zheng chuckled and said, Lord Chiliarch, we were too happy because of your victory in the Valley of the Gods of War. We didn't notice that the restaurant we went to was owned by the younger sister of the Silverworm Army's commander. Really? Before Tong Zheng could finish speaking, he felt guilty when Duan Lingtian turned around and looked at him. Lord Captain, you're wise. Tong Zheng smiled wryly and said, We went to Lai Feng restaurant because we know the Silverworm Army often patronizes Lai Feng restaurant. So, Duan Lingtian interrupted Tong Zheng again and said indifferently, Are all of you trying to let the Silverworm Army know that the Black Dragon Army has a captain like me? Lord Captain, you're wise. Tong Zheng quickly nodded in response. Lord Chiliarch. After a few moments, Tong Zheng asked solemnly as he followed behind Duan Lingtian, Is it really okay for you to cripple Yang Kongping's arm and leg today? After all, you know about Yang Kongping's identity as well. Tong Zheng continued, What problem could there be? Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes as a cold light flashed in them, and he continued to say indifferently, I'm already being extremely merciful by not killing him today. Today, Yang Kongping had not only forcefully detained his Black Dragon Army soldiers. When he attacked him, he even looked like he wanted to capture him and bring him back to the Silverworm Army's camp. As for why Yang Kongping wanted to capture him and bring him back to the Silverworm Army, it wasn't difficult for him to guess that it was surely because of the immortal techniques and divine abilities that he possessed. After all, the others did not believe he was a heavenly celestial who had just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven half a month ago. However, the people from the Silverworm Army were 100% certain he was a heavenly celestial who had just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven half a month ago. They also knew he was so strong because he had mastered some profound celestial techniques and divine abilities. If he was really captured by Yang Kongping and brought back to the Silverworm Army, one could only imagine what would happen to him. If he could not obtain any celestial techniques and divine abilities from Yang Kongping, he would definitely die. Naturally, this was based on the premise that he was not strong enough to break free from the Silverworm Army's restraints. With his current strength, he did not think the Silverworm Army would be able to restrain him. For this reason, Duan Lingtian felt he was being merciful by not killing Yang Kongping when he crippled Yang Kongping's arm and leg. I'm already being merciful by not killing him today. Tong Zheng and the other soldiers from the Black Dragon Army were shocked when they heard Duan Lingtian's words. For a time, they did not say anything. However, on their way back, they secretly discussed among themselves using voice transmissions that Duan Lingtian could not hear. Based on Lord Captain's attitude, it seems like he's not afraid of the commander of the Silverworm Army at all. Could it be that Lord Captain is stronger than the commander of the Silverworm Army? That's possible. However, even if Lord Captain is stronger than the commander of the Silverworm Army, don't forget that the commander of the Silverworm Army can ask the city governor of Bloody Spectre City to stand up for him. If the city governor intervenes, I'm afraid it'll be troublesome. If it really comes to that, I only hope that the commander of the Black Dragon Army can support the Chiliarch. After all, compared to the commander of the Silverworm Army, the commander of the Black Dragon Army is more valued by the city governor. Naturally, Duan Lingtian was unaware of the discussions among his subordinates through voice transmissions. At this moment, he was thinking of a problem. The commander of the Silverworm Army has also cultivated the graded cultivation method from the city governor of Bloody Spectre City. Why don't I strike first and beat him into submission before he attacks me? After that, we'll force him to hand over the graded cultivation technique that he possesses? Duan Lingtian's eyes brightened when he thought of this. At the same time, he felt this idea was feasible. All of you can return first. I just remembered that I have something to do in Bloody Spectre City. Duan Lingtian abruptly stopped moving and looked at his 10 subordinates that had stopped as well, and he called out to them. After that, Duan Lingtian left in a flash, disappearing before the eyes of the 10 soldiers from the Black Dragon Army. He had always been a man of action. Since he felt his idea was feasible, he would follow it. Target: at the Silverworm Army's camp. The 10 soldiers from the Black Dragon Army, including Centurion Tong Zheng, finally regained their senses when Duan Lingtian's figure disappeared from their sight. However, they did not think too much about it since they thought Duan Lingtian really had something to do. If they knew the reason Duan Lingtian left, they would have been scared out of their wits. Their captain was going to enter the Silverworm Army's camp to look for Miao Lai Long, the commander of the Silverworm Army. When Tong Zheng and the others returned to the Black Dragon Army's base, news of Duan Lingtian's actions in Lai Feng restaurant spread like wildfire in the Black Dragon Army's base. It was as though an earthquake had occurred in the base. Captain Duan Lingtian crippled Captain Yang Kongping's arm and leg. Moreover, he did it in front of Yang Kongping's wife, Miao Lai Feng, the sister of the commander of the Silverworm Army. Heavens! Captain Duan Lingtian is too awesome, right? Even the commander wouldn't dare to go against the commander of the Silverworm Army, right? I'm afraid the commander of the Silverworm Army will be furious when he finds out about this. Similar exclamations could be heard everywhere in the Black Dragon Army's camp. The Black Dragon Army's new captain, Duan Lingtian, made them feel proud since the Black Dragon Army had never suppressed the Silverworm Army in such a manner before. However, at the same time, many of the Black Dragon Army soldiers were worried. Miao Lai Long, the commander of the Silverworm Army, won't let Captain Duan Lingtian off the hook so easily. I'm afraid this matter is going to blow up. Now, let's see if Captain Duan Lingtian and the commander are able to deal with the Silverworm Army's commander's wrath. Chen Xianba, the commander of the Black Dragon Army, also received the news while the soldiers in the camp were discussing among themselves. Captain Duan Lingtian crippled Yang Kongping? Chen Xianba could not help but smile bitterly. If Miao Lai Long finds out about this, I'm afraid it'll be troublesome. Miao Lai Long was Chen Xianba's old rival. Naturally, Chen Xianba was familiar with Miao Lai Long's temper. In the Silverworm Army's camp, as one of the 2 armies under Bloody Spectre City, the Black Dragon Army's camp was in charge of one of the celestial stone veins controlled by Bloody Spectre City, while the Silverworm Army's camp was in charge of the other celestial stone vein controlled by Bloody Spectre City. Since half a month ago, the Silverworm Army's camp had not been peaceful since something had happened to one of the celestial ascension pools. Today, along with an enormous figure flashing into the Silverworm Army's campsite, the Silverworm Army's campsite was bound to be chaotic. Is that Miss Lai Feng? It's Miss Lai Feng. He seems to be carrying Captain Yang Kongping. Am I seeing things? One of Chiliarch Yang Kongping's arms and legs were gone? What? What's going on? When Miao Lai Feng left Bloody Spectre City and entered the Silverworm Army's camp while carrying her husband, Yang Kongping, many of the Silverworm Army's soldiers vaguely saw her huge figure. It's Chiming. The Silverworm Army soldiers were curious about what had happened when they saw Yang Kongping's 3 centurions following Miao Lai Feng back to the Silverworm Army's camp. They quickly stepped forward and stopped the 3 centurions. Chiming, what's going on? What's going on? Miss Lai Feng doesn't seem to be in a good mood. Moreover, Captain Yang Kongping seems to have lost an arm and a leg. Since there were many centurions among the Silverworm Army's soldiers, Chiming and the other 2 centurions patiently explained what had happened before they continued to follow Miao Lai Feng. The Silverworm Army's soldiers were stunned when they heard what Chiming and the other 3 centurions said. The new captain of the Black Dragon Army crippled Captain Yang Kongping's arm and a leg? Does this mean the new captain of the Black Dragon Army is stronger than He Jin Kuan, the first captain of the Black Dragon Army? That's not the point. Most importantly, he actually dared to touch Captain Yang Kongping. After all, Captain Yang Kongping is the brother-in-law of the Lord Commander. Now that Miss Lai Feng has returned, I'm afraid Lord Commander is going to be furious. Chapter 26:12. The Silverworm Army's camp was located northeast of Bloody Spectre City. Whether it was heading to Bloody Spectre City or the Black Dragon Army's camp southwest of Bloody Spectre City, they were on the same route. This route was the only route from the Silverworm Army's camp to the Bloody Spectre City and the Black Dragon Army's camp. Unless they intentionally took a detour, they would usually take this route. And now, on this path, a tall purple figure stood in the air. His eyes were calmly looking in the northeast direction, as if there was something he was waiting for. The purple figure was none other than Duan Ling Tian, who had returned to Bloody Spectre City after bidding farewell to the 10 soldiers of the Black Dragon Army. Although Duan Ling Tian passed by the Bloody Spectre City, he did not enter it. He flew above Bloody Spectre City and arrived at a place that was still some distance away from the Silver Dragon Army's camp. He hovered in the air and waited patiently. It was as if he was waiting for something. It also seemed like it was waiting for someone. About half an hour later, he's here. In the blink of an eye, Duan Ling Tian, who had been standing there for half an hour without any change in his expression, raised his eyebrows as he thought to himself, what a coincidence. Whoosh! Almost at the same time as Duan Ling Tian thought to himself, the sound of something breaking through the air could be heard. It was coming towards Duan Ling Tian. In the blink of an eye, it was less than a kilometer away from Duan Ling Tian. The sound of something breaking through the air was made by a person who was traveling at an extremely fast speed. After this person discovered Duan Ling Tian, he suddenly slowed down and quickly stopped. When he came to a complete stop, he was only 100 meters away from Duan Ling Tian. And the reason why he stopped was because he realized that Duan Ling Tian had been staring at him the moment he appeared, giving him the feeling that the Duan Ling Tian had been waiting for him. The Silverworm Army's commander, Miao Lai Long? Duan Ling Tian raised his brows and asked indifferently as he looked at the 2-meter-tall, burly man with a face full of stubble. The burly man in front of Duan Ling Tian resembled the owner of Lai Feng Restaurant, Miao Lai Feng, the wife of Yang Kongping, a chiliarch of the Silverworm Army. For this reason, it was not difficult for him to guess who this person was. This was the person he was waiting for. The Silverworm Army's commander, Miao Lai Long. Who are you? Miao Lai Long raised his thick eyebrows when he heard the purple-robed young man say his name. His voice was as loud as a bell, and it was deafening to the ears. Miao Lai Long, Miao Lai Long's, Miao Lai Feng. Duan Ling Tian replied calmly when he heard Miao Lai Long's question. Swoosh. As soon as Duan Ling Tian finished speaking, Miao Lai Long's expression changed drastically. His eyes widened as he asked, You're Duan Ling Tian, the new chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army? Today, when the 10 soldiers of the Black Dragon Army mentioned Duan Ling Tian's actions in the Valley of Ares, they had mentioned Duan Ling Tian's name as well. For this reason, those who knew Duan Ling Tian as a chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army knew his name as well. As soon as Miao Lai Long finished speaking, His celestial origin energy surged out of his body like a wild horse that had escaped its reins. His celestial origin energy surged out of his body like a ball of flame that shot up into the sky. His aura was terrifying. At the same time, his eyes that were as big as a gong that was staring at Duan Lingtian burned with fury. It was so furious that it felt as though it could burn anything. Miao Lilong's face that was covered with stubbles trembled slightly due to his anger. Duan Lingtian was right. Indeed, Miao Lilong had left the Silverworm Army's camp and rushed toward the Bloody Spectre City and the Black Dragon Army's camp because of him. Earlier, Miao Lilong's younger sister had brought her husband back to the Silverworm Army's camp and complained tearfully in front of Miao Lilong. Miao Lilong was furious and made a promise to his sister. He had promised to capture Duan Lingtian and bring him to his sister so she could do whatever she wanted with him. After that, he had left the Silverworm Army's camp to capture Duan Lingtian, the Chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army, who had crippled his brother-in-law. However, he did not expect Duan Lingtian would encounter Duan Lingtian. Not long after he left the Silverworm Army's camp, he had encountered Duan Lingtian. Moreover, it was obvious Duan Lingtian had intentionally waited for him here. "It's me." Duan Lingtian responded unhurriedly. His expression remained calm, and he didn't show any unusual emotions just because the person in front of him was the commander of the Silverworm Army. In his eyes, the commander of the Silverworm Army was not much different from the Chiliarch of the Silverworm Army, because none of them were a match for the current him. "Are you waiting for me?" Miao Lilong's expression darkened. At the same time, he scanned the surroundings vigilantly. It seemed like he wanted to see if Duan Lingtian had brought any helpers with him. "You don't have to. I came here alone." Duan Lingtian saw through Miao Lilong's thoughts and said lightly, "Do you think I'll believe you?" Miao Lilong sneered. At the same time, he extended his divine sense and patiently probed the surroundings. No wonder they said the city governor of Bloody Spectre City favors Qian Xianba, the commander of the Black Dragon Army. "Before I met you, Miao Lilong, I couldn't make a comparison. However, based on the current situation, you're indeed inferior to Commander Qian Xianba of the Black Dragon Army." Duan Lingtian suddenly laughed. "What did you say?" Duan Lingtian's words were akin to pouring salt on Miao Lilong's wound. Miao Lilong was so angry that he immediately withdrew his divine sense. He glared at Duan Lingtian furiously as killing intent flashed in his eyes. "Didn't you hear what I said?" Duan Lingtian's smile widened. "You're seeking death." The smile on Duan Lingtian's face was extremely unpleasant to Miao Lilong. He could no longer hold himself back. His body trembled as he shot out at lightning speed. His body trembled as he charged toward Duan Lingtian like a ferocious tiger. Swoosh! When Miao Lilong charged toward Duan Lingtian, his celestial origin energy surged again. As expected of a golden celestial who has cultivated a graded cultivation method, just the assist-type divine ability alone has raised his celestial origin energy by 2 levels. Its effect isn't any weaker than the assist-type divine ability, the elementary devouring tactic, that I cast. It was not difficult for Duan Lingtian to see Miao Lilong charging toward him. "I've heard from Tong Zheng that the commander of the Silverworm Army is a green sun golden celestial. His assist-type divine ability alone is enough to raise his celestial origin energy to the level of an indigo sun golden celestial." With just a thought, Miao Lilong's figure had already traversed half the distance between Duan Lingtian and himself. Buzz, 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 buzz. The sound of a saber buzzing rang in the air. A thick and broad saber appeared in Miao Lilong's hand. As soon as the saber appeared, it was shrouded by his celestial origin energy. A saber ray that was more than 100 feet long shot out of the saber. Wherever this over 10 feet long blade ray passed, countless tiny blade rays would whiz out with it. It was like 100 flowers blooming. It was an exceptionally beautiful sight. "Duan Lingtian, I've heard from my sister that you're as strong as He Jin Kuan, the first captain of the Black Dragon Army. Now, try me." As soon as Miao Lilong's voice rang in the air, the saber ray on his saber shot toward Duan Lingtian. Buzz! The saber ray streaked across the sky, and its target was Duan Lingtian. It was as if it carried the force to split mountains and rivers, and it wanted to slash Duanling Tian into two. Humph! Faced with Miao Lilong's preemptive strike, Duanling Tian narrowed his eyes and snorted coldly. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Following that, Duanling Tian's celestial origin energy surged out of his body as soon as Miao Lilong appeared. It transformed into tens of thousands of sword rays that formed a sword formation before it transformed into a gigantic sword. At the same time, Duanling Tian brought out a celestial sword and turned it into a part of the sword formation. At the same time, the gigantic sword that was formed by the sword formation shone even brighter than before. Naturally, this celestial sword was not the Devata artifact, the Seven Orifices exquisite sword, that had merged with Duanling Tian's body. Although the Seven Orifices exquisite sword had lost its sword soul and was no longer as powerful as a Devata artifact, it was still comparable to a top celestial weapon. Duanling Tian did not plan to use the Seven Orifices exquisite sword unless it was absolutely necessary. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. With just a thought from Duanling Tian, the gigantic sword formed from the sword formation met Miao Lilong's saber strike head-on. It was as though it had received an order from Duanling Tian. Duanling Tian's saber shone brilliantly as he slashed at the gigantic sword. Miao Lilong's cultivation base was at the Green Sun Golden Celestial stage. When he cast his assist-type divine ability, his strength would increase by 2 levels. Moreover, his saber was a celestial weapon that contained offensive divine abilities and celestial methods. Currently, his strength was 5 levels higher than a Green Sun Golden Celestial without his celestial methods, divine abilities, and celestial weapons. Since Duanling Tian's cultivation base was at the Blue Moon Heavenly Celestial stage, his assist-type divine ability would increase his strength by 2 levels. The 99 heavenly veins in his body would increase his strength by another 2 levels. The Sovereign Heart Sword, offensive divine ability, and Celestial Sword would increase his strength by 3 levels. Currently, his strength was 11 levels higher than a Blue Moon Heavenly Celestial without his celestial methods, divine abilities, and celestial weapons. There was a difference of 6 levels between a Blue Moon Heavenly Celestial and a Green Sun Golden Celestial. If this was the case, the strength of Duanling Tian's gigantic sword was on par with the strength of Miao Lilong's saber. However, there was a difference of 1 stage between a Heavenly Celestial and a Golden Celestial. Chapter 26:13. A heavenly celestial who had just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven a little over half a month ago is only slightly weaker than me? Miao Lilong, the commander of the Silverworm army, could not help but widen his eyes when he saw the energy contained in Duanling Tian's gigantic sword. His heart was filled with shock as well. No wonder Kong Ping couldn't even last 1 round against him. His strength is only slightly weaker than mine. Miao Lilong thought to himself. Kong Ping was none other than Yang Kong Ping. Miao Lilong had planned to hold back at the critical moment, but at this moment, he realized there was no need for him to hold back at all. Even if he did not hold back, he would not be able to kill Kong Ping with just 1 strike. Although Miao Lilong had left the Silverworm army's camp in a huff, he had no intention of killing Duanling Tian. He only wanted to capture Duanling Tian and bring him back to the Silverworm army's camp to avenge his sister. Then, he would be able to snatch the brilliant celestial methods and divine abilities from Duanling Tian. A heavenly celestial who had just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven a little over half a month ago is, at most, an Orange Moon Heavenly Celestial. For an Orange Moon Heavenly Celestial to possess such strength, his celestial methods and divine abilities must be top tier even in the Devata realms, right? Miao Lilong's eyes lit up when he thought about this. A hint of excitement could be seen on his face. Buzz. At the same time, the saber ray from Miao Lilong's celestial saber landed on the gigantic sword formed by Duanling Tian's sword formation and collided with the gigantic sword. When the 2 forces collided, there was a momentary silence. After a few moments, boom, rumble. An earth-shattering explosion rang in the air as the energy from Duanling Tian's gigantic sword collided with the energy from Miao Lilong's celestial saber. It was a white-hot battle. At first, the 2 of them were evenly matched. However, The power of Duan Lingtian's giant sword began to run out of strength and gradually fell into a disadvantageous position. You're just a heavenly immortal who ascended to the spirit overarching heaven half a month ago. Yet you're able to force me, Miao Lai Long, to use my full strength. Even if you're defeated today, you should be proud. Miao Lai Long said to Duan Lingtian, as though he was the victor of the battle. It's still not certain who will be the one to lose. As soon as Miao Lai Long finished speaking, Duan Lingtian, who had a solemn expression on his face, suddenly laughed. Miao Lai Long had a bad feeling when he heard Duan Lingtian's words and saw Duan Lingtian smile. Could it be that this kid still has some tricks up his sleeve? You're deliberately mystifying things. Although Miao Lai Long had a bad feeling about this, he did not hesitate to say that Duan Lingtian was deliberately mystifying things. Didn't your subordinates tell you not to use your celestial weapon in front of me? The smile on Duan Lingtian's face turned into a sneer in just a blink of an eye. At the same time, a mysterious aura extended from the gigantic sword that was formed from the sword formation. The aura spread and covered a large area in just a blink of an eye. Submission of 10,000 soldiers. Miao Lai Long and the celestial saber in his hand were shrouded by the aura that spread in all directions. In just a blink of an eye, the celestial saber flew out of Miao Lai Long's hand and was pulled into Duan Lingtian's sword formation by Miao Lai Long's mysterious aura. How's this possible? What kind of technique is this? Miao Lai Long only regained his senses when his celestial weapon was taken away and his hand was injured. An expression of disbelief appeared on his face as though he had just seen a ghost. At this moment, he recalled something. More than half a month ago, when Yang Kongping, the chili arch under his command, reported to him about the Ascender, he had mentioned that the Ascender knew a technique that could allow him to steal celestial weapons. However, at that time, Miao Lai Long had thought his centurion was too weak. That was why his celestial weapon was taken away. However, it seemed like that was not the case. Duan Lingtian indeed knew a mysterious technique to steal celestial weapons. Boom. Rumble. Initially, Miao Lai Long had the upper hand. However, after his celestial weapon was taken away by Duan Lingtian, he lost a lot of his strength and gradually fell into a disadvantageous position. In the end, his strength was completely suppressed. Bang! With a loud explosion, a huge sword ray shot out and shattered Miao Lai Long's hastily cast defensive technique. Miao Lai Long was sent flying. Barf! Miao Lai Long, who had been sent flying, spat out a large mouthful of blood at the same time. When he finally regained his footing, he heard the sound of wind whistling in the air. Oh no! Miao Lai Long's expression changed drastically, and his heart trembled. Whoosh! At this moment, Duan Lingtian's figure appeared in front of Miao Lai Long like a ghost. Tens of thousands of sword rays appeared around Duan Lingtian's body. The tips of the sword rays were pointed at Miao Lai Long. The sword rays were scattered around Duan Lingtian's body, and they seemed to be connected to each other. If you dare to kill me, Lord City Governor won't let you go, Miao Lai Long said in a deep voice as he looked at Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian glanced at Miao Lai Long indifferently. Although Miao Lai Long seemed calm, Duan Lingtian could see a hint of fear in the depths of Miao Lai Long's eyes. Hand over the yellow-grade cultivation method you've mastered, and I'll spare your life. Duan Lingtian did not beat around the bush. He had come here for the graded cultivation technique that Miao Lai Long had imparted to him by the city lord of Bloody Spectre City. If he could master the cultivation method, not only would his cultivation speed increase by leaps and bounds, but his assist-type divine ability, the elementary devouring tactic, would also become more powerful. After all, according to Hua Lao, the three-legged golden crow, the pagoda spirit of the seven treasures exquisite pagoda, the elementary devouring tactic of the seven treasures exquisite pagoda. The elementary devouring tactic was considered a rare and amazing assist-type divine ability even in the Devata realms. Impossible. Miao Lai Long's eyes widened in shock. He did not expect Duan Lingtian would want his cultivation method. He instinctively turned around and refused. What a joke. When the city governor of Bloody Spectre City had passed the cultivation method to him, he had warned him that if he dared to teach it to another person, he would not be able to escape the death penalty. At that time, not only would he be unable to stay in Bloody Spectre City, but he would also be unable to stay in Nine Spectres County. After all, it was a rule set by the Nine Spectres County, and the city governor of Bloody Spectre City had to abide by the rules set by the Nine Spectres County. If he passed the cultivation method to another person, he would not be able to escape the death penalty. Under such circumstances, how could he pass the cultivation method to another person? One had to know that even if it was his most beloved sister, he wouldn't dare to impart that cultivation technique to her. Impossible? Duan Lingtian sneered. Are you sure it's impossible? If you don't pass the cultivation method to me, you'll die today. If I pass the cultivation method to you, I won't be able to escape the death penalty, Miao Lai Long said in a deep voice. If you don't tell me and I don't tell you, who's going to find out? Could it be that you think I'm stupid enough to tell a third person about the cultivation method that you taught me? Wouldn't I be courting death then? Duan Lingtian said indifferently. I'll give you 10 breaths to think about it. If you're still unwilling or unable to make a decision after 10 breaths, I'll send you on your way. Duan Lingtian gave Miao Lai Long an ultimatum. If you kill me, there'll be no place for you in Bloody Spectre City in Nine Spectres County, Miao Lai Long said in a deep voice. He was reminding Duan Lingtian that he would have to pay a price for killing him. So what? At most, I'll leave Nine Spectres County. You should know that I've just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven. I don't have any attachments. Isn't the world my home? Duan Lingtian did not fall for Miao Lai Long's trick. Naturally, he knew that if he killed Miao Lai Long, he would not hesitate to kill Miao Lai Long. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Miao Lai Long's heart skipped a beat. He did not expect this would happen. He wanted to snatch Duan Lingtian's celestial methods and divine abilities. However, before he could do that, Duan Lingtian would snatch his cultivation method away. Moreover, if the cultivation method was leaked, he would not be able to escape the death penalty. However, for the sake of his life, he chose to compromise. I'll pass it to you. In just a few breaths, Miao Lai Long gave in. A bright smile appeared on Duan Lingtian's face when he saw Miao Lai Long's expression. He had obtained it. After obtaining the yellow-grade cultivation method from Miao Lai Long, Duan Lingtian turned around and left. He kept his promise and did not kill Miao Lai Long. It was not difficult for him to kill Miao Lai Long. However, if he killed Miao Lai Long, he would attract unnecessary trouble. The first trouble would be the city governor of Bloody Spectre City. Duan Lingtian was not afraid of the city governor of Bloody Spectre City. If he used the Devata artifact, the Seven Orifices exquisite sword, even if it was only as strong as a peak celestial weapon, he would be able to easily defeat or even kill the city governor of Bloody Spectre City. However, he had to consider the trouble he would face if he killed the city governor of Bloody Spectre City. With his current strength, he might not be a match for the powerhouses in Nine Spectres County, even if he used the Seven Orifices exquisite sword. For this reason, if he killed Miao Lai Long, it would be difficult for him to stay in Bloody Spectre City or Nine Spectres County, unless he was willing to hide in a remote place. But right now, there was no way he could just find a place to hide no matter what. He had to find a place with the best cultivation environment. Only then would he be able to raise his cultivation base as quickly as possible. Chapter 26:14. When Duan Lingtian returned to the Black Dragon Army's camp, he could hear the soldiers talking about him along the way. The soldiers of the Black Dragon Army were discussing Duan Lingtian's actions in Lai Feng Restaurant in Bloody Spectre City. Most of the soldiers were worried about his safety since they felt Miao Lai Long, the commander of the Silverworm Army, would not let him off so easily. Miao Lai Long won't let me off? He has to have the guts to do so. Duan Lingtian shook his head and smiled before he returned to his tent. Although Duan Lingtian knew the Black Dragon Army soldiers were worried about his safety because the strength he had displayed was enough to help the Black Dragon Army defeat the Silverworm Army in the future. In other words, he was valuable to the Black Dragon Army. However, he still felt warmth in his heart. The crystal clearance tactic. After Duan Lingtian returned to his tent, he took out a jade token. It was the jade token that Miao Lai Long, the commander of the Silverworm Army, had used to record the yellow-grade cultivation method that Duan Lingtian had forced him to. The Jade token contained the contents of the crystal clearance tactic. As long as Duan Lingtian spent some time, he would be able to master it. A graded cultivation method in the Devata realms. I'm really looking forward to it. Duan Ling Tian took a deep breath to suppress the excitement in his heart before he began to cultivate according to the content recorded in the Jade token. Since he had been cultivating the Nine Dragons War Sovereign technique in the past, he needed some time to adapt to the crystal clearance tactic. Only then would he be able to change and solidify the celestial origin energy in his body. After closing his eyes, Duan Ling Tian started to immerse himself in the cultivation of the crystal clearance technique, completely immersing himself in it and ignoring everything that was happening outside. Captain Duan Ling Tian. After a while, Chen Xianba's voice rang in Duan Ling Tian's ears again. I've heard about what you did in Lai Feng Restaurant in Bloody Spectre City. You've crossed the line. You see, shouldn't we discuss how to deal with Miao Lilong's accusation? With his character, he'll definitely report this matter to Lord City Governor, Chen Xianba said. Duan Ling Tian, who was fully immersed in his cultivation of the crystal clearance tactic, was interrupted by Chen Xianba. He opened his eyes abruptly, and a hint of impatience could be seen on his face. Commander, I'm at a critical juncture in my cultivation. Please don't disturb me before Miao Lilong comes to find me. Duan Ling Tian said impatiently. Chen Xianba, the commander of the Black Dragon Army, was stunned when he heard Duan Ling Tian's voice. It took him a while to regain his senses. Duan Ling Tian's impatience gave him the feeling of, the emperor is not anxious, but the eunuch is, and it caused him to be slightly speechless. Duan Ling Tian is really... Chen Xianba thought to himself. Chen Xianba was speechless. However, since Duan Ling Tian said he was at a critical juncture in his cultivation, he did not disturb him. However, Miao Lilong should be here by now. Chen Xianba thought to himself. On second thought, Chen Xuanba felt that something was amiss. Could it be that Miao Lilong went to the city governor's mansion before coming to the Black Dragon Army's camp? Chen Xianba did not expect Duan Ling Tian to be defeated by Miao Lilong. Miao Lilong had just been defeated by Duan Ling Tian and was even forced to hand over the graded cultivation method that the city governor of Bloody Spectre City had taught him. It was impossible for him to come looking for trouble with Duan Ling Tian for the time being. In the Silverworm Army's camp, brother, why did you come back so quickly? Miao Lifeng, who had been waiting for news in her tent, immediately walked up to Miao Lilong. How was it? Duan Ling Tian, the captain of the Black Dragon Army, did you manage to capture him? Miao Lifeng's eyes, which were narrowed by her fat, flashed with anticipation as she asked the question. Miao Lilong's expression darkened when he heard Miao Lifeng mention Duan Ling Tian, the captain of the Black Dragon Army. A hint of hatred flashed in his eyes. Brother, what's wrong with you? At this moment, Miao Lifeng noticed something was amiss with Miao Lilong. Do you know who I met when I left the Silverworm Army's camp? Miao Lilong asked Miao Lifeng. Who? Miao Lifeng was stunned. She knew her brother would not bring this up for no reason. Duan Ling Tian. Miao Lilong's eyes flashed coldly as he said, he intentionally blocked my path on the way from the Silverworm Army's camp to the Black Dragon Army's camp. What? Miao Lifeng was shocked. Duan Ling Tian intentionally blocked your path? Did he have a death wish? Death wish? Miao Lilong shook his head and smiled self-deprecatingly. Lifeng, I almost didn't make it back. He found help? Was it Chen Xianba, the commander of the Black Dragon Army? Miao Lifeng's expression changed drastically. He didn't have help. Miao Lilong shook his head again. A hint of fear could be seen in his eyes as he said, he came alone. If he didn't have that mysterious technique that allows him to snatch other people's celestial weapons, I would have been stronger than him. However, when he used that ability to seize my immortal artifact, my strength was instead slightly inferior to his. You should know that at my level, a slight difference in strength is enough to determine the outcome of a battle. Miao Lilong said with a bitter smile on his face. What? His strength, is even stronger than you, big brother? Miao Lifeng's huge and fat body trembled as an expression of disbelief appeared on her face. She shook her head, clearly unable to accept this fact.
Yes.
Miao Long nodded. Brother Lian, you're not a match for him. Are we just going to let this matter slide? Miao Feng could not accept this fact at all. Soon after, she seemed to have recalled something. Her eyes flashed fiercely as she looked at Miao Long and said, Brother, you said he's only slightly stronger than you. This means he's definitely weaker than the city governor of Bloody Spectre City. Brother, you should ask the city governor for an explanation. I don't believe he'll be able to do anything to the city governor. A vicious look appeared on Miao Feng's face as he spoke, and the light in his eyes grew sharper and sharper. No. Miao Long rejected Miao Feng's suggestion. Why? Miao Feng's expression changed rapidly. In just a blink of an eye, the viciousness on her face was replaced by sorrow. Brother, are we just going to let this matter slide? Brother, I can't accept this. I can't accept this. Feng, I understand how you feel, but I really can't go and look for Master City Governor. Once I do, that Duanling Tian will expose the fact that I gave him the yellow grade cultivation method, and I'll be finished. Miao Long said with a bitter smile on his face, You should know that imparting the yellow grade cultivation method to another person is a crime punishable by death. Brother, why did you impart the cultivation method to him? Miao Feng's expression changed again. I had no choice. He said he would kill me if I didn't impart the cultivation method to him, Miao Long said. Miao Long said, he's a bachelor. He said he'll only leave Bloody Spectre City and 9 Spectres County after killing me. After all, he had just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven half a month ago. He has nothing to worry about. He has such profound celestial methods and divine abilities. Why doesn't he have a graded cultivation method? Miao Feng could not figure out why Duanling Tian would ask her brother for the cultivation method. I also feel that he must have a graded cultivation method, and it might even be more profound than the crystal clearance tactic. Perhaps, the reason he asked me to pass the cultivation method to him is to use it to threaten me so that I won't dare to seek justice from the city governor for this matter. Miao Long guessed. The more he thought about it, the more he felt he was right. Brother, I still can't accept this. Although Miao Feng still said the same thing, her voice had weakened. Because she also knew that with the current situation, wanting to avenge her husband was simply more difficult than ascending to the heavens. Feng, I know you're not willing to accept this, and I'm not willing to accept this as well. Bear with it for now. I'll see if I can borrow someone else's knife to kill him. Miao Long comforted Miao Feng. When he reached the end of his sentence, a hint of killing intent could be seen in his eyes. Whether it was the people from Bloody Spectre City or the Black Dragon Army's camp, they were certain Miao Long, the commander of the Silverworm Army, would not let the matter rest after his brother-in-law was crippled by Captain Duanling Tian of the Black Dragon Army. Most of the people in the Black Dragon Army's camp were worried about Duanling Tian's safety. Most of the people in Bloody Spectre City were waiting to watch the show. However, as the days passed, the Silverworm Army's camp was completely peaceful. It was as though nothing had happened. In just a blink of an eye, a month had passed. A month ago, Duanling Tian, the captain of the Black Dragon Army, had forcefully crippled Yang Kongping, the captain of the Silverworm Army, in a domineering manner. What's going on? This isn't Miao Long, the commander of the Silverworm Army, at all. Could it be that Miao Long is in closed-door cultivation? Otherwise, how could he have kept his cool about what happened a month ago? Similar discussions could be heard everywhere in Bloody Spectre City. In the city governor's estate in Bloody Spectre City, in the main hall. Lai Long, rumors say that you're in closed-door cultivation. However, I know that even if you're in closed-door cultivation, if something happens to your sister, you'll come out immediately to share her burden. Lu Fenggu, the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, looked at Miao Long, the commander of the Silverworm Army. Based on his words, it was clear he knew Miao Long very well. Upon hearing this, Miao Long did not reply. He only smiled awkwardly. You're here today to deliver the celestial stones the Silverworm Army mined this month? Chapter 26:15. Yes, Lord City Governor. Miao Long nodded in response to Lu Fenggu's question. He had come to deliver the celestial stones that the Silverworm army had mined last month to the city governor of Bloody Spectre City. Both the Silverworm army and the Black Dragon army were required to hand over 80% of the celestial stones they mined every month. The remaining 20% would be used to pay the soldiers. At the beginning of every month, the commanders of the Silverworm army and the Black Dragon army had to come to the city governor's estate to hand over the celestial stones. Miao Lai Long was here today to hand over the celestial stones. I heard that a month ago, Captain Duan Lingtian of the Black Dragon army crippled one of your subordinates, Captain Yang Kongping. Yang Kongping is your brother-in-law. After the incident, your sister brought him to the Silverworm army's camp immediately, Lu Fenggu said. Lu Fenggu looked at Miao Lai Long meaningfully before he asked, "Didn't your sister ask you to stand up for her husband? Aren't you going to stand up for your sister and brother-in-law?" Lord City Governor. Miao Lai Long seemed to have expected this. As soon as Lu Fenggu finished speaking, he quickly replied, "I've already investigated the matter a month ago. It was my subordinate, Captain Yang Kongping, who was at fault. Even if he's at fault, don't you think Captain Duan Lingtian of the Black Dragon Army's actions are a little too much? Can you tolerate him?" Lu Fenggu asked with a smile on his face. He knew Miao Lai Long's temper very well. Not only was Yang Kongping a captain, but he was also Miao Lai Long's brother-in-law. Even if Yang Kongping was just a chili arch under Miao Lai Long's command, Miao Lai Long would never let this matter rest. "I can't tolerate it. However, for the sake of Bloody Spectre City and 9 Spectres County, I've decided to tolerate it," Miao Lai Long said righteously. "For the sake of Bloody Spectre City? For the sake of 9 Spectres County?" Lu Fenggu was stunned. "What do you mean? Lord Governor, do you know that Duan Lingtian, the chili arch of the Black Dragon Army, ascended from the mundane realm 1.5 months ago?" Miao Lai Long said solemnly. "I've heard about that," Lu Fenggu said nonchalantly. "A month ago in Lai Feng Restaurant, the centurion under your command said that Duan Lingtian, the captain of the Black Dragon Army, had only ascended to the spirit overarching heaven half a month ago. Moreover, he said that Duan Lingtian came out from the immortal ascension pool." Ridiculous. A celestial immortal who came out of the celestial immortal ascension pool can be as powerful as Duan Lingtian? Lu Fenggu shook his head when he reached the end of his sentence. A person who had just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven and had just become a heavenly celestial had crippled a chili arch of the Silverworm army? In his opinion, this was something that was utterly impossible. "City Lord doesn't seem to believe me?" Miao Lai Long smiled bitterly. "What? Do you believe me?" Lu Fenggu asked. "City Lord, although there's no lightning penalty oath in the Devata realms, I can't guarantee you with my life," Miao Lai Long said solemnly. Miao Lai Long looked at Lu Fenggu solemnly before he said, "However, I'm willing to swear on my honor that Duan Lingtian ascended to the spirit overarching heaven 1.5 months ago. At that time, apart from my centurions and decurions, some of the people who ascended at the same time as Duan Lingtian saw him in the immortal ascension pool. If you're worried my men are lying, you can ask those who ascended at the same time as Duan Lingtian to verify this," Miao Lai Long said as he gave Lu Fenggu a suggestion. "Lai Long, you've been my subordinate for many years. It's not that I don't believe you." When Lu Fenggu saw how serious Miao Lai Long was, to the extent that he was willing to let Lu Fenggu find an ascender to verify his theory, he began to waver. "However, do you think that's possible? A heavenly celestial who has just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven is stronger than a chili arch under your command. If I'm not mistaken, your captain, Yang Kongping, is an orange sun golden celestial with extraordinary strength. Among the 10 captains under your command, he's ranked in the top 3. Let alone a heavenly celestial who has just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven. Even a golden celestial who has just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven wouldn't be a match for Yang Kongping." Although Lu Fenggu was slightly shaken, he still found it hard to believe. "Lord City Governor, as far as I know, the celestial methods and divine abilities that Duan Lingtian has mastered are extremely profound. Not only that, but he even knows a technique that allows him to snatch other people's celestial weapons. Half a month ago, 2 of my centurions fought with him, and lost their celestial weapons. Miao Lai Long continued to say, It's because I'm certain he's a heavenly celestial who has mastered profound celestial methods and divine abilities that I feel he's a great talent for Bloody Spectre City and Nine Spectres County. That's why I decided not to pursue the matter from a month ago. Miao Lai Long put on a righteous look again. Otherwise, with my temper, I wouldn't have let go of what happened a month ago. City Lord, if you want to confirm it with the people who ascended to the spirit overarching heaven with Duan Lingtian, you can follow me to the Silverworm Army's camp and confirm it with them. Miao Lai Long looked at Lu Feng Gu solemnly as he said, Those people have just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven for a month. In their eyes, you're much more powerful than me, the commander of the Silverworm Army. They won't lie to you because of me. Since you've said so much, I'll follow you. Lu Fenggu was beginning to believe Miao Lai Long's words. However, he still wanted to confirm it with Miao Lai Long. It was just as Miao Lai Long had said. For someone who had just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven, his authority as the city governor of Bloody Spectre City was far greater than the commander of the Silverworm Army. Therefore, it was impossible for the city governor of Bloody Spectre City to lie to him. Moreover, if Miao Lai Long's words were true, it would explain why Miao Lai Long did not make things difficult for Duan Lingtian. City Lord, this way please. Miao Lai Long's eyes flashed as he rose to his feet and gestured for Lu Fenggu to follow him. After a while, Lu Fenggu made his move. Miao Lai Long followed closely behind him. When Miao Lai Long followed Lu Fenggu out of the city governor's mansion and Bloody Spectre City, a hint of smugness could be seen in the depths of his eyes as he thought to himself, That's right. He thought to himself, Duan Lingtian, this is just the beginning. If I have the chance, I'll spread the news that you possess a precious treasure. Of course, you'll have to get past the city lord first. A hint of viciousness flashed in the depths of Miao Lai Long's eyes when he thought about this. Ever since Miao Lai Long had witnessed Duan Lingtian's strength, he knew there was nothing he could do to Duan Lingtian. Moreover, Miao Lai Long had taught Duan Lingtian a graded cultivation method. Since Duan Lingtian had something on him, he could not make things difficult for the city lord of Bloody Spectre City. However, even if he could not use the incident a month ago to make things difficult for the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, it did not mean he could not use the celestial methods and divine abilities that Duan Lingtian had mastered as bait to lure the city governor of Bloody Spectre City to deal with Duan Lingtian. He believed the city governor of Bloody Spectre City would definitely be interested in the various profound celestial techniques and divine abilities Duan Lingtian had mastered. No one could resist the temptation of immortal arts and divine abilities. The camp of the Black Dragon Army. At this moment, Duan Lingtian was still in closed-door cultivation. He had no idea what Miao Lai Long, the commander of the Silverworm Army, was doing. In a month's time, he had grasped the basics of the new cultivation method, the crystal clearance method. At the same time, he could clearly feel that the celestial origin energy in his body had also become purer. He knew this was the effect of the crystal clearance tactic, a grade 1 cultivation method in the Devata realms, on his celestial origin energy. Apart from that, Duan Lingtian also discovered that the crystal clearance method was much better. Compared to the 9 Dragons War Sovereign technique in the mundane realm, the crystal clearance tactic's cultivation speed was more than twice as fast. One could clearly feel the increase in one's cultivation base. In just a blink of an eye, 2 weeks had passed. I've made a breakthrough. Inside the tent, Duan Lingtian, who had been cultivating with his eyes closed, suddenly opened his eyes that were as bright as the stars. A hint of an excited smile appeared on his originally calm face in a timely manner. At this moment, Duan Lingtian had officially broken through and become an indigo moon heavenly celestial. He was only a step away from becoming a violet moon heavenly celestial who was at the peak of the heavenly celestial stage. If I were to face Miao Lai Long, the commander of the Silverworm Army, now, even if I don't use my celestial weapon, I'll still be able to defeat him easily. Duan Lingtian muttered to himself as he sensed the transformation of his celestial origin energy. Currently, his celestial origin energy had also broken through to the next level. Naturally, if this was all, he would not be able to defeat Miao Lai Long without using his celestial weapon or taking his celestial weapon. However, after this cultivation session, Duan Lingtian's strength had improved a lot. His celestial origin energy had been tempered by the crystal clearance tactic, a graded cultivation method in the Devata realm. Now that he had cast the assist-type divine ability, the elementary devouring tactic, the strength of his celestial origin energy had increased as well. It was completely different from before. I wonder how much my celestial origin energy will increase if I cast the assist-type divine ability, the elementary devouring tactic. Out of curiosity, Duan Lingtian quickly cast the elementary devouring tactic and began to devour the heaven and earth spirit energy in the area around his tent. Fortunately, the heaven and earth spirit energy in the area was abundant. Chapter 26:16. My celestial origin energy has only risen by 3 levels? It's only 1 level higher than before? Duan Lingtian cast the assist-type divine ability, the elementary devouring tactic, to test it out. However, he could not help but frown when he saw the result. He was greatly disappointed. According to Hua Lao, my assist-type divine ability, the elementary devouring tactic, shouldn't be so weak. Even the assist-type divine ability cast by the Silverworm Army's commander, Miao Lai Long, can raise his celestial origin energy by 3 levels. However, my elementary devouring tactic is only slightly stronger than his assist-type divine ability. Duan Lingtian was bewildered for a long time and still didn't dare believe it. Initially, he had planned to continue cultivating after testing the elementary devouring tactic strength. However, he was no longer in the mood to cultivate. Lord City Governor, why are you here? At this moment, Chen Xianba, the commander of the Black Dragon Army, called out to Duan Lingtian. His voice caught Duan Lingtian's attention. City Governor? Could it be the City Governor of Bloody Spectre City? Why is the City Governor of Bloody Spectre City here? Could it be because of what happened last time? No. Miao Lai Long, the commander of the Silverworm Army, passed the crystal clearance tactic to me. This means I have something against him. It's impossible for him to take the risk and gamble his life just to take revenge on me. Although Duan Lingtian did not have much contact with Miao Lai Long, he could tell Miao Lai Long was not a coward. He was certain Miao Lai Long was not someone who would risk his life to take him down with him. I'm looking for Duan Lingtian, the captain of the Black Dragon Army. Soon after, another voice that Duan Lingtian had never heard before resonated from outside. As soon as the person spoke, he said he was looking for him. The city governor of Bloody Spectre City, Lu Fenggu. Although Duan Lingtian had not met the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, he had heard a lot about him. He knew the city governor of Bloody Spectre City was the strongest powerhouse in Bloody Spectre City. The city governor of Bloody Spectre City was a subordinate of the county governor of 9 Spectres County. If it's not because of that incident, why is Lu Fenggu looking for me? Duan Lingtian's heart was filled with confusion. Lord City Governor. Lord City Governor. At the same time, a few more familiar voices entered into Duan Lingtian's ears through the tent. Duan Lingtian could tell the voices belonged to the other 4 captains of the Black Dragon Army who were currently in the camp. Hu Ji, Kai Wenyu, Zhao Dongxing, Qin Yu. Duan Lingtian disdained to associate himself with the former 2, because they were trying to curry favor with the rich and powerful. For the time being, Duan Lingtian generals and Duan Lingtians. However, after listening to their voices, Duan Lingtian could tell that they were flattering Lu Fenggu. Regardless of whether it was Hu Ji or Kai Wenyu, both of their voices were especially flattering. Only Zhao Dongxing and Qin Yu's voices were a bit normal. Lord City Governor, are you looking for Captain Duan Lingtian because of the incident at Lai Feng Restaurant a month ago? Chen Xianba, the commander of the Black Dragon Army, asked Lu Fenggu, the city governor of Bloody Spectre City. Zhao Dongxing and Qin Yu frowned slightly when they heard Chen Xianba's question. Although they did not have a close relationship with Duan Lingtian, they did not want to offend him. However, from the Black Dragon Army's perspective, they did not want anything to happen to Duan Lingtian. The other 2 captains of the Black Dragon Army, Hu Ji and Kai Wenyu, looked at each other. They could see the glee in each other's eyes. Commander Miao Lai Long has already told me that he won't pursue the matter. Since he's not pursuing the matter, it's only natural that I won't pursue the matter as well. I'm here to look for Captain Duan Lingtian because I have other matters to discuss with him. I can assure you that I won't make things difficult for him. Therefore, you don't have to worry about that." Chen Xianba, Zhao Dongxing, and Qin Yu's eyes lit up when they heard Lu Fenggu's words. Hu Ji and Kai Wenyu looked at each other again. However, they discovered that the gloating look in each other's eyes had disappeared and was replaced by disappointment. It was obvious they hoped that something would happen to Duan Lingtian. How's this possible? Lord City Governor said that Commander Miao Lilong personally told him that he won't pursue the matter. This isn't Miao Lilong's style. Hu Ji and Kai Wenyu communicated through voice transmission. Their voices were filled with disbelief. They could not figure out why Miao Lilong, the commander of the Silverworm Army, did not pursue the matter of Duan Lingtian crippling Yang Kongping. After all, Yang Kongping was not only a captain under Miao Lilong's command, but he was also Miao Lilong's brother-in-law. Chen Xianba, Zhao Dongxing, and Qin Yu heaved a sigh of relief. However, at the same time, they found it hard to believe. After all, they knew Commander Miao Lilong's temper very well. They knew that he was not someone who would let things go easily. Lord City Governor, Captain Duan Lingtian is currently in closed-door cultivation. I'm afraid he doesn't know you're here. I'll call him out now. You're here, Chen Xianba said. After he finished speaking, he looked at Duan Lingtian's tent, intending to wake Duan Lingtian up. No need. However, just as Chen Xianba was about to speak, Lu Fenggu stopped him. Since Captain Duan Lingtian is in closed-door cultivation, I won't disturb him. Let me know when he's done with his closed-door cultivation, and I'll look for him. When Chen Xianba and the others heard Lu Fenggu's casual words, they were dumbfounded. Moreover, the city governor of Bloody Spectre City had told him to wait for Duan Lingtian to come out of closed-door cultivation and inform him, so that he could look for Duan Lingtian. Even Chen Xianba and the commander of the Silverworm Army, Miao Lilong, did not receive such treatment. If the two of them were in his place, the city lord of Bloody Spectre City would have said, "That's right. When he comes out of seclusion, tell him to come find me at the city lord's mansion." Yes. Although Chen Xuanba was shocked and did not know why the city governor was so polite to Duan Lingtian, the Chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army, he still responded immediately. "I'm done with my closed-door cultivation." Just as Lu Fenggu was about to leave, Duan Lingtian walked out of the tent and looked at Lu Fenggu. Although he had not seen Lu Fenggu before, he knew who he was. However, he knew everyone in the crowd. Therefore, he was able to recognize Lu Fenggu, the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, at a glance. City governor. Duan Lingtian nodded at Lu Fenggu and greeted him casually. He did not greet Lu Fenggu as though he was a superior. Instead, he greeted Lu Fenggu as though he was an equal. As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, Lu Fenggu smiled and was about to respond to Duan Lingtian's greeting. "How dare you? How dare you be so rude in front of the city governor?" Before Lu Fenggu could say anything, Hu Ji and Kai Wenyu from the Black Dragon Army glared at Duan Lingtian angrily. It was as though they were here to denounce Duan Lingtian for his crimes. At this moment, they only had one thought in mind. He had to perform well in front of the city lord of Bloody Spectre City and win his favor. However, they seemed to have forgotten that Lu Fenggu was very polite to Duan Lingtian. He had even said that he would ask the commander of the Black Dragon Army to inform Duan Lingtian after Duan Lingtian came out of closed-door cultivation. After that, he would personally look for Duan Lingtian. As soon as Hu Ji and Kai Wenyu finished speaking, Duan Lingtian's expression darkened. Lu Fenggu's expression changed as well. "How dare you act so presumptuously in front of Chiliarch Duan Lingtian?" Lu Fenggu suddenly roared furiously. He raised his hand and a boundless power swept out, slamming into Hu Ji and Kai Wenyu, who were caught off guard and unable to react, heavily injuring them and sending them flying. Barf. Pfff. Hu Ji and Kai Wenyu spat out a mouthful of blood at the same time. When they finally regained their footing, they looked at Lu Fenggu in disbelief. They could not understand why the city governor of Bloody Spectre City had such a huge reaction. Chen Xianba, Zhao Dongxing, and Qin Yu were stunned when they saw this. What was going on? Previously, they thought the city governor of Bloody Spectre City was only being polite to Duan Lingtian, the captain of the Black Dragon Army. However, It seemed like the city governor of Bloody Spectre City was not only being polite to Duan Lingtian, but he was also being respectful to Duan Lingtian. They could not understand. Why was the city governor of Bloody Spectre City so polite to Duan Lingtian? In fact, even Duan Lingtian himself was slightly stunned at this moment. Earlier, when Hu Ji and Kai Wenyu had shouted at him, he was displeased. Therefore, he was prepared to make a move on them. However, before he could make a move, Lu Fenggu, the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, appeared. This is my first time meeting him, right? Why does it feel like he's not only being polite to me, but he's also taking care of me? Duan Lingtian could not figure it out. Captain Duan Lingtian, may I have a word with you? After punishing Hu Ji and Kai Wenyu, the anger on Lu Fenggu's face disappeared. It was replaced with a smile as he asked Duan Lingtian politely, "What do you think?" "Sure." Duan Lingtian nodded. Then, he followed Lu Fenggu and left the valley. Duan Lingtian looked at Lu Fenggu's back as he followed behind him. He could not figure out why Lu Fenggu was so polite to him. Perhaps, I'll find out soon enough. There must be something he wants from me. With this thought in mind, Duan Lingtian decided not to dwell on it any longer. In the valley, the high-ranking officials of the Black Dragon Army, led by Commander Chen Xianba, finally regained their senses after Duan Lingtian and Lu Fenggu disappeared from their sight. When they regained their senses, they looked at each other and saw the shock and disbelief in each other's eyes. Nobody said a word. Chapter 26:17. In the sky 1,000 miles away from the Black Dragon Army's camp, Duan Lingtian and Lu Fenggu, the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, faced each other. Duan Lingtian looked at Lu Fenggu calmly, waiting for him to speak. Lu Fenggu looked at the purple-clad young man in front of him. He could not calm down when he recalled how he had gone to the Silverworm Army's camp to verify his identity. The purple-clad young man in front of him, the new captain of the Black Dragon Army, was really someone who had just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven a month and a half ago. Moreover, he was someone who had just ascended to the Heavenly Celestial Ascension Pool. The Heavenly Celestial Ascension Pool was exclusive to eminent celestials from the mundane realms after they ascended to the Devata realms. Eminent celestials could become Crimson Moon Heavenly Celestials through the Celestial Ascension Pool. There were many Heavenly Celestial Ascension Pools in Bloody Spectre City that were controlled by the Black Dragon Army and the Silverworm Army. Those who had just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven from the mundane realm and appeared in the Heavenly Celestial Ascension Pool in Bloody Spectre City would be sent by the Black Dragon Army and the Silverworm Army to mine celestial stones for the Black Dragon Army and Silverworm Army. In the spirit overarching heaven, very few ascenders could escape this fate. Lu Fenggu did not expect this. While he was the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, a monstrous ascender had appeared in the Heavenly Celestial Ascension Pool. As soon as he ascended, he killed a centurion of the Silverworm Army. After that, he left and even infiltrated the Black Dragon Army, becoming a Chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army. Moreover, he was stronger than the captains of the Black Dragon Army and the Silverworm Army. In fact, he might not be any weaker than the commanders of the Black Dragon Army and the Silverworm Army. Captain Duan Lingtian. Lu Fenggu looked at Duan Lingtian for a while before he said, "If I'm not mistaken, you must have fought and defeated Miao Lailong, the commander of the Silverworm Army, right? Did he tell you about it?" Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow in surprise. "No." Lu Fenggu shook his head. "I guessed it myself." Duan Lingtian suddenly understood. He had thought that Miao Lailong wouldn't have told Lu Fenggu about this. After all, once he said it, it would mean that he had completely fallen out with him. Miao Lailong had passed the cultivation method, the crystal clearance tactic, to him, which was a capital offense. Therefore, unless Miao Lailong was out of his mind, there was no way Miao Lailong would turn against him openly. Miao Rulong has been my subordinate for many years. I know his temper and character very well. Lu Fenggu continued to say, "If he hadn't fought with you and lost to you, with his temper, there's no way he would have let the matter go so easily. However, I'm very curious. Even if he loses, he can always find me to stand up for him. Even if I'm not your match, I still have the county governor's office behind me. However, he didn't look for me, and even said he has no intention of pursuing the matter. Lu Fenggu paused for a moment before he looked at Duan Lingtian meaningfully and said, "If I'm not mistaken, you must have something on Miao Lai Long, right?" Upon hearing Lu Fenggu's words, Duan Lingtian looked at Lu Fenggu in surprise. Based on Lu Fenggu's words, it seemed as though Lu Fenggu had personally witnessed the battle between Duan Lingtian and Miao Lai Long. This was truly shocking. Some time ago, Chen Xianba, the commander of the Black Dragon Army, came to look for me and told me you wanted to cultivate the cultivation method I passed to him, the crystal clearance tactic. If I'm not mistaken, Miao Rulong must have passed the crystal clearance tactic to you under your threat, right? Lu Fenggu paused for a moment before he looked at Duan Lingtian meaningfully. Upon hearing Lu Fenggu's words, Duan Lingtian's expression changed slightly. However, Lu Fenggu still managed to catch the change in Duan Lingtian's expression. "It seems like I'm right." Upon seeing Duan Lingtian's expression, Lu Fenggu continued to say, "You don't have to be nervous. I have no intention of pursuing the matter." HM? Upon hearing Lu Fenggu's words, Duan Lingtian was even more surprised. In his opinion, since Lu Fenggu knew about this matter, he would most likely make a move on him and Miao Lai Long. He did not expect Lu Fenggu would say he had no intention of pursuing the matter. "It's precisely because Miao Rulong passed the crystal clearance tactic to you that he didn't look for me and asked me to look for trouble with you for the incident from a month ago," Duan Lingtian said solemnly. Lu Fenggu continued to say. Lu Fenggu's words made Duan Lingtian feel as though there was nothing he could hide from Lu Fenggu. Lu Fenggu's deductive ability was truly terrifying. Am I right? After Lu Fenggu finished speaking, he looked at Duan Lingtian with a smile on his face. "It's as though you saw it with your own eyes and heard it with your own ears," Duan Lingtian sighed. Following that, Duan Lingtian did not beat around the bush as he asked, "Since you have no intention of pursuing the matter, may I know why you're looking for me?" "I'd like to make a deal with you, Captain Duan Lingtian," Lu Fenggu said bluntly with a glint in his eyes. Since Duan Lingtian was being so direct, there was no need for him to hide anything. "A deal?" Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow. "What kind of deal?" "I want to kill someone, but I don't have the ability to do so." As Lu Fenggu spoke, a chilling light flashed in his calm eyes. It was as if he had turned into a venomous snake, sending chills down the spines of those who saw him. It was as though he was reminded of his enemy who had killed his father and stolen his wife. "For this reason, I hope you'll be able to capture that person and bring him to me so that I can kill him with my own hands when you're strong enough." After Lu Fenggu finished speaking, the coldness in his eyes gradually disappeared. "Don't you think too highly of me, city governor?" Duan Lingtian said indifferently. "If you're not strong enough to kill that person, what makes you think I, Duan Lingtian, will be strong enough to capture that person and bring him to you for you to kill? Because you've only ascended to the spirit overarching heaven 1.5 months ago. Because you're only a heavenly celestial," Lu Fenggu said as he stared at Duan Lingtian with a burning gaze. "No one believes the words of the Silverworm Army. Unless, City Lord, you believe them?" Duan Lingtian smiled. Although the Silverworm Army said that he was a heaven immortal who had just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven half a month ago, no one believed the Silverworm Army. After all, normally speaking, it was impossible for a heaven immortal who had just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven half a month ago to possess the strength to cripple a chiliarch of the Silverworm Army with just a single blow. I didn't believe it in the beginning as well. However, under Miao Lai Long's suggestion, I went to look for the people who ascended at the same time as you," Lu Fenggu said. "Miao Rulong?" Duan Lingtian's eyes flashed coldly. He didn't think that Miao Lai Long would dare to do something behind his back after the previous incident. There was only one reason why Miao Lai Long suggested that Lu Fenggu confirm that he had just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven. He wanted Lu Fenggu to know that Duan Lingtian possessed profound celestial methods and divine abilities. If Lu Fenggu became greedy, he would make a move on Duan Lingtian and steal his celestial methods and divine abilities. After all, in Miao Lai Long's opinion, Lu Fenggu was only slightly stronger than him and might not be a match for Lu Fenggu, the city lord of Bloody Spectre City. Lu Fenggu continued to say, "Of course, I know what Miao Lai Long is trying to tell me, that the reason you're so strong as a heaven immortal is because you've mastered profound celestial methods and divine abilities. Lu Fenggu continued to say, the reason he told me all this is because he wants to kill you with a borrowed knife. He wants to kill you with my knife. Lu Fenggu's words revealed Miao Lai Long's intentions. Apart from that, Miao Lai Long also told me that you have a soul defense celestial weapon that's at least mediocre. When he tried to probe your soul with his divine consciousness, it seemed to have been devoured by something before it could even get close to your soul. Lu Fenggu paused for a moment before he looked at Duan Lingtian meaningfully and said, this isn't something that can be done by concealing one's cultivation base. No wonder Miao Lai Long didn't use a soul attack on me that day. As it turns out, he was certain I had a soul defense celestial weapon that could block his soul attack when he tried to probe my cultivation base with his divine consciousness. Duan Lingtian thought to himself with a glint in his eyes. As for the item that Lu Fenggu had mistaken for a soul defense celestial weapon, it had to be the defective metal piece. Since you already know my background, don't you want my celestial methods, divine abilities, and the soul defense celestial weapon in my possession? Duan Lingtian asked bluntly as he looked at Lu Fenggu calmly. Indeed, I did think about it. Lu Fenggu replied honestly, however, I dismissed the idea as soon as it appeared in my mind. Why? Duan Lingtian was curious about how Lu Fenggu managed to suppress his greed. First of all, I'm not sure if I'm a match for you. Secondly, even if I'm a match for you, it'll be difficult for me to pry the celestial methods and divine abilities out of you. If you didn't willingly teach me your celestial methods and divine abilities, I wouldn't be able to obtain them. Although this is my first time meeting you, ever since you killed Jian Shoping in the Black Dragon Army and Qin Xianba reported it to me, I've had my subordinates, the Golden Serpent Guards, investigate you. Ever since you became a Chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army, you haven't shown your face much. But from your behavior and the arrogance that you're showing, it's clear that you're not a simple person. Even if I force you, it'll be difficult for me to obtain your celestial methods and divine abilities if you're unwilling. Chapter 26:18. Governor, with your intelligence and courage, it's a waste for you to be the governor of a small city like Bloody Spectre City. Duan Lingtian could not help but sigh when he heard Lu Fenggu's words. I wasn't the governor of Bloody Spectre City in the past. I was a strategist under the county governor of Nine Spectres County. However, I offended someone and was demoted to be the governor of Bloody Spectre City. As Lu Fenggu spoke, he seemed to be reminiscing about the past. His eyes gleamed as he said, back then, if it wasn't for the county governor thanking me for my many years of service, I might have already been killed by that person. Is that person the governor wants to kill? Duan Lingtian asked with a glint in his eyes when he recalled the deal Lu Fenggu had mentioned earlier. Yes. Lu Fenggu nodded. I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you. Upon seeing Lu Fenggu nodding, Duan Lingtian shrugged and said, although I've killed many people along the way, I've only killed those who deserved it. You want me to help you kill someone I don't even know? That's equivalent to killing the innocent. Forgive me for not agreeing to this. Duan Lingtian shook his head when he finished speaking. I haven't even told you what I'm offering, and you're already rejecting me? Lu Fenggu was stunned. I'm not interested in anything, Duan Lingtian said. He had his own principles. Let me tell you a story, Lu Fenggu said. He was not angered by Duan Lingtian's rejection. Instead, he continued to speak. Once, there was a person in the county governor's estate in Nine Spectres County who accepted a direct disciple and treated the disciple as his son. When the disciple grew up, he displayed shocking innate talent and was very proud of it. At that moment, the first revered elder of the county governor's estate in Nine Spectres County, who's only second to the county governor, took a liking to that person's direct disciple. He made that person's direct disciple betray his master and join his sect. The first revered elder of the county governor's estate, who was also the second strongest person in Nine Spectres County, was enraged and killed the first revered elder of the county governor's estate. When that person found out that his direct disciple was killed, he was so angry that he spat out a mouthful of blood. He was unconscious for 3 days and 3 nights. When he woke up, he knew it was impossible for him to avenge his direct disciple with his strength. Therefore, he went to look for the county governor of Nine Spectres County to ask for help. However, in this cruel world, the strong are revered. Although the Lord County Governor is sympathetic to the death of his direct disciple, it's impossible for him to do anything to the county governor's revered elder because of that person's direct disciple. When that revered elder of the county governor's mansion found out that person went to seek justice from the county governor, he wanted to kill that person in a fit of rage. At this moment, the county governor was grateful for that person's great contributions while following him, so he asked that revered elder of the county governor's mansion for some face and fought for a way out for that person. Although the person survived, it was impossible for him to stay in the county governor's estate. Lu Fenggu did not continue to speak at this point. His eyes, which had become round at some point in time, were suffused with a bloody light and emitted a murderous intent. If that's the case, then the revered elder of the county governor's estate in Nine Spectres County should be killed. Duan Lingtian, naturally, knew the person in Lu Fenggu's story was Lu Fenggu. However, according to Lu Fenggu's story, the revered elder of the county governor's estate in Nine Spectres County should be killed. However, who knew if Lu Fenggu had made up the story himself? Although Lu Fenggu's emotions were flawless, Duan Lingtian was not 100% certain Lu Fenggu was not lying. I understand your concerns, Captain Duan Lingtian. Although Duan Lingtian did not say anything else, Lu Fenggu had already guessed Duan Lingtian's thoughts. Therefore, he quickly added, "That's right, Duan Lingtian." Duan Lingtian continued to say, "How about this? 6 months later, when you visit the county governor's estate in Nine Spectres County, if you find out that my story is false, or if you think the revered elder of the county governor's estate doesn't deserve to be killed, you can choose to ignore our deal. It won't be considered a violation of our agreement." Lu Fenggu said. A year later, the county governor's estate? A puzzled expression appeared on Duan Lingtian's face. A month ago, I received an order from the county governor's estate asking Bloody Spectre City to send 2 young talents with the most potential to report to the county governor's estate under the guidance of a special envoy from the county governor's estate. Although the county governor's estate did not state the reason, I believe it has something to do with King Qin's mansion. Lu Fenggu's eyes gleamed as he spoke. King Qin's mansion? Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow. This was not the first time he had heard of the King Qin's mansion. Therefore, he knew that the Nine Spectres County was only one of the counties under the King Qin's mansion. All the other counties, including the Nine Spectres County, were under the jurisdiction of the King Qin's mansion. You'll find out when you arrive at the county governor's estate. Lu Fenggu did not intend to waste time on this topic. Soon after, he looked at Duan Lingtian and asked, "Chiliarch Duan Lingtian, I've said enough. Are you willing to make a deal with me now? Since the city governor has given me a way out, it would be unreasonable of me to refuse. However, since it's a deal, what can you give me in return?" Since Lu Fenggu had said that if he felt the revered elder of the county governor's estate was not a person who deserved to be killed, Duan Lingtian was, naturally, relieved. He immediately agreed to Lu Fenggu's deal. At the same time, he was curious. What did the city governor of Bloody Spectre City intend to give him? "What I can give you is the best cultivation environment and cultivation resources for the next 6 months," Lu Fenggu said with a glint in his eyes. "City governor, do you intend to let me cultivate in your quiet room?" Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up immediately. The quiet room had the best cultivation environment in the vicinity of Bloody Spectre City. Moreover, Lu Fenggu had said that he was going to give him the best cultivation resources. Apart from celestial stones, there should also be medicinal pills. There were medicinal pills in the Devata realms as well, but they were celestial pills. They could not be compared to the medicinal pills in the mundane realms. However, it was rare to see medicinal pills in a small place like Bloody Spectre City. "That's right," Lu Fenggu nodded. "Although it's said that my quiet room has a better cultivation environment than the tents of the Black Dragon Army and the Silverworm Army, people say it's not that good. However, the truth is that the cultivation speed in my quiet room is twice as fast as the cultivation speed in your quiet room. This is because the heaven and earth spirit energy in the cores of the 2 celestial stone veins is drawn to my quiet room through a formation. Lu Fenggu said. Twice as fast. Duan Lingtian was shocked by Lu Fenggu's words. It was as Lu Fenggu had said. Previously, he had thought that Lu Fenggu's cultivation room was only slightly better than his current cultivation environment, but the difference was not that great. He did not expect the difference to be so great. Apart from that, I'll also give you some medicinal pills and prominent celestial stones. The 2 celestial stone veins in Bloody Spectre City can't produce prominent celestial stones. Only the celestial stone veins near the county city of 9 Spectres County can be mined. These are the things I'm giving you in exchange for our deal. Are you satisfied with these? Lu Fenggu asked as he looked at Duan Lingtian. Deal. Duan Lingtian did not hesitate at all as he agreed to Lu Fenggu's proposal. A smile appeared on Lu Fenggu's face immediately. City Governor. Duan Lingtian recalled Lu Fenggu's words and asked, You said there'll be a special envoy from the county governor's estate coming to bring me and another person to the county city of 9 Spectres County in 6 months? Yes. Lu Fenggu nodded. It's a long journey from Bloody Spectre City to the county city of 9 Spectres County. During this journey, there are many powerful celestials who specialize in killing and plundering. There are even many peak golden celestials. Therefore, when the time comes, the county governor's estate will send a special envoy to bring all of you safely to the county city and the county governor's estate. Lu Fenggu said, There are peak golden celestials? And there are many of them? Duan Lingtian's heart skipped a beat when he heard Lu Fenggu's words. Fortunately, he had stayed in Bloody Spectre City since he had ascended to the spirit overarching heaven. A peak golden celestial was a violet sun golden celestial. Yes. Lu Fenggu nodded confidently. When I left the county governor's estate and came to Bloody Spectre City, I encountered 3 peak golden celestials who wanted to kill and plunder. Fortunately, I revealed my identity in time. Otherwise, I would have been killed by them. The road from the county city of 9 Spectres County to Bloody Spectre City was the territory of the 9 Spectres County. In this area, the 9 Spectres County was a deterrent. Even the celestials who liked to kill and plunder did not dare to touch the people and cities in the 9 Spectres County. After all, not only would the 9 Spectres County hunt them down, but the King Qin's mansion would also hunt them down if the 9 Spectres County reported this matter. For this reason, nobody dared to covet the 2 celestial stone veins in Bloody Spectre City. As for the powerful celestials who were not afraid of the 9 Spectres County and King Qin's mansion, they naturally did not care about the 2 celestial stone veins in Bloody Spectre City. With my current strength, if I use the Devata artifact, the 7 Orifices exquisite sword, even a peak golden celestial might not be a match for me. At this moment, Duan Lingtian also realized that there was no other choice. With his current strength, he could head to the county city of 9 Spectres County alone. However, he was prepared to wait for 6 months. After all, he might not be able to find a better cultivation environment in the county city. Chapter 26:19. When Duan Lingtian and Lu Fenggu left the Black Dragon Army's camp, Chun Xianba, the commander of the Black Dragon Army, spread the news of the incident a month ago to everyone in the Black Dragon Army's camp. The reason why he did this was to stabilize the morale of the army. Since the incident at Lai Feng Restaurant in Bloody Spectre City a month ago, most of the soldiers in the Black Dragon Army were worried that something might happen to their new captain, Duan Lingtian. As soon as Chen Xianba spread the news, a commotion broke out in the Black Dragon Army's camp. I knew Captain Duan Lingtian would be fine. I didn't expect Miao Lailong, the commander of the Silverworm Army, to take the initiative to say he won't pursue the matter. This isn't his style. That's right. I've long heard that Miao Lailong, the commander of the Silverworm Army, is a vengeful person. I didn't expect him to take the initiative to say he won't pursue the matter. Did the sun rise from the west today? In the Black Dragon Army's camp, the soldiers were excited. However, they found it hard to believe as well. However, they did not doubt the authenticity of the news. That was because the news came from the Black Dragon Army's commander. The Black Dragon Army's camp was in an uproar. Meanwhile, Duan Lingtian had also agreed to Lu Fenggu's deal. City Governor. Duan Lingtian seemed to have recalled something as he looked at Lu Fenggu and asked, I know the assist-type divine ability I mastered is a brilliant divine ability. However, after cultivating the crystal clearance tactic and tempering my celestial origin energy, I discovered it didn't improve much compared to before. That's normal. Lu Fenggu was in a good mood now that Duan Lingtian had agreed to the deal. He smiled and said, the assist-type divine abilities in the Devata realms rely on one's celestial origin energy and one's cultivation base. For example, even if a heavenly celestial has cultivated a graded cultivation method and his celestial origin energy has been tempered, he'll still be able to improve his celestial origin energy. However, if he completely grasps a yellow-grade assist-type divine ability, the increase in his celestial origin energy is only one level. Even if he completely grasps a mysterious grade auxiliary divine ability, it can only increase his celestial origin energy by one level. Lu Fenggu said, that's because his cultivation base is only at the Heaven Immortal realm. Then, what if a Heaven Immortal can increase his celestial origin energy by 2 levels by performing an assist-type divine ability when he has yet to cultivate a graded cultivation technique? What is the grade of that support-type divine ability? Duan Lingtian asked. At the same time, he was looking forward to it. This was because the assist-type divine ability, the elementary devouring tactic, was similar to this. Then, the assist-type divine ability that this heavenly immortal cultivates is at least a heaven-grade divine ability. Lu Fenggu replied immediately. At the same time, he looked at Duan Lingtian with a bright gleam in his eyes. It was clear he had figured out something. If a heaven-grade assist-type divine ability is cast by a heavenly celestial who has cultivated a graded cultivation method, it can raise his celestial origin energy by 3 levels. Upon hearing Lu Fenggu's words, Duan Lingtian finally obtained the answer he was looking for. If this is the case, then the assist-type divine ability, the elementary devouring tactic that I mastered, is indeed not as simple as Elder Hua said. It's actually a heaven-grade divine ability. Duan Lingtian was overjoyed. In the Devata realms, cultivation methods, divine abilities, and celestial methods were divided into different grades. Currently, Duan Lingtian only knew of 4 grades: Heaven, Earth, Mysterious, and Yellow. Among them, the Yellow grade was the lowest while the Heaven grade was the highest. Naturally, he was overjoyed when he learned the assist-type divine ability, the elementary devouring tactic, was a Heaven-grade divine ability. City Governor, Duan Lingtian continued to ask, based on what you said, a heavenly celestial who cast a heaven-grade assist-type divine ability would only be able to raise his or her celestial origin energy by 3 levels at most. How many levels would the celestial origin energy of a heaven-grade assist-type divine ability increase if the celestial origin energy of a heaven-grade assist-type divine ability was activated? A hint of anticipation could be seen in Duan Lingtian's eyes as he asked these questions. 5 levels. Lu Fenggu replied, only a great overarching golden celestial or stronger can fully unleash the power of a heaven-grade assist-type divine ability. Naturally, even if it's an earth-grade or profound-grade assist-type divine ability, only a great overarching golden celestial or stronger can fully unleash its power. After listening to Lu Fenggu's explanation, Duan Lingtian gained a better understanding of the assist-type divine abilities in the Devata realms. The assist-type divine abilities were at the Heaven, Earth, Mysterious, and Yellow grade. Yellow grade assist-type divine abilities and profound-grade assist-type divine abilities. Regardless of whether a heavenly immortal had cultivated a graded Devata realms cultivation method or not, he could only raise his celestial origin energy by 1 level. On the other hand, if a golden celestial did not cultivate a graded Devata realms cultivation method, he could only raise his celestial origin energy by 1 level. If he cultivated a graded Devata realms cultivation method, he could raise his celestial origin energy by 2 levels. Raising one's celestial origin energy by 2 levels was the limit of a yellow-grade assist-type divine ability. On the other hand, a great overarching golden celestial could raise his celestial origin energy by 3 levels by casting a profound-grade assist-type divine ability. Earth-grade assist-type divine ability, a heavenly immortal could raise his celestial origin energy by 2 levels at most. A golden celestial could raise his celestial origin energy by 3 levels at most. A great overarching golden celestial could raise his celestial origin energy by 4 levels at most. Heaven-grade assist-type divine ability. A heavenly immortal could raise his celestial origin energy by 3 levels at most. For example, Duan Ling Tian. A golden celestial could raise his celestial origin energy by 4 levels at most. A great overarching golden celestial could raise his celestial origin energy by 5 levels at most. After listening to Lu Fenggu's explanation, Duan Ling Tian confirmed it. The elementary devouring tactic was a heaven-grade assist-type divine ability. Governor, what about the other divine abilities? At the same time, Duan Ling Tian also wanted to know the grade of his offensive divine ability, the 13 green lotus swords, in the Devata realms. The other divine abilities aren't restricted by one's cultivation base and celestial origin energy. Lu Fenggu continued to patiently explain to Duan Ling Tian. Soon after, Duan Ling Tian learned that the 13 green lotus swords was an earth-grade offensive divine ability. Apart from that, he also learned that the Supreme Sword Dao mental cultivation method, the Sovereign Heart Sword, was equivalent to an earth-grade celestial method. Moreover, it was an offensive and defensive celestial method. Captain Duan Ling Tian. Lu Fenggu looked at Duan Ling Tian solemnly. Although I don't know the grades of your celestial methods and divine abilities, based on your ability to defeat Miao Rulong, your celestial methods and divine abilities should be heaven grade or above. This was Lu Fenggu's conjecture. Lu Fenggu's conjecture was based on Duan Ling Tian's cultivation base being, at most, an orange moon heavenly celestial. Governor, you're wrong. Duan Ling Tian shook his head when he heard Lu Fenggu's words. Among all the celestial methods and divine abilities that I've mastered, only the assist-type divine ability is at the heaven grade. The other divine abilities and celestial methods are only at the earth grade. How's that possible? Lu Fenggu looked at Duan Ling Tian in disbelief. You've only ascended to the spirit overarching heaven for a month and a half, and you've only joined the Black Dragon Army for a month. Even if you're talented, you'll only be an orange moon heavenly celestial in a month's time. For an orange moon heavenly celestial to defeat Miao Rulong, his celestial methods and divine abilities must be heaven grade or above. Lu Fenggu voiced his conjecture. Governor, your conjecture is correct. Duan Ling Tian smiled faintly and said, the problem is, I'm not an orange moon heavenly celestial. A month ago, when I fought Miao Rulong, my cultivation base was already a blue moon heavenly celestial. After I obtained the crystal clearance tactic from Miao Rulong, my cultivation base became an indigo moon heavenly celestial in a month's time. Now, I'm an indigo moon heavenly celestial. Duan Ling Tian said. Upon hearing Duan Ling Tian's words, Lu Fenggu was stunned. When he regained his senses, he looked at Duan Ling Tian in disbelief. How? How did your cultivation base improve so quickly? However, when Duan Ling Tian heard Lu Fenggu's words, he could not help but think of a beautiful figure. She was none other than the mysterious woman, Murong Bing, whom he had met 1.5 months ago when he had just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven. She was the reason his cultivation base had improved from a crimson moon, heavenly celestial to a blue moon, heavenly celestial a month ago. After I ascended to the spirit overarching heaven, I obtained some fortuitous encounters. Duan Ling Tian found an excuse and said half-heartedly, during the 1.5 months since I ascended to the spirit overarching heaven, my cultivation base has only improved from a blue moon heavenly celestial to an indigo moon heavenly celestial. Naturally, Duan Ling Tian knew this was the case. Apart from the yellow-grade cultivation method, the crystal clearance tactic, the reason he was able to become an indigo moon heavenly celestial in such a short time was because he had become an indigo moon heavenly celestial. He had broken through to become a blue moon heavenly immortal a month ago. His cultivation base was very close to that of an indigo moon heavenly immortal. If he had only become a blue moon heavenly celestial a month ago, it would have been impossible for him to become an indigo moon heavenly celestial in such a short time. Most of the credit went to Murong Bing. I see. Lu Fenggu nodded. He could tell Duan Ling Tian did not intend to reveal the details. Although he was curious, he did not ask any further questions. However, he could vaguely guess Duan Ling Tian's fortuitous encounter had to have come from the little world in the southern mountain ridge of Bloody Spectre City. Previously, Chen Xianba, the commander of the Black Dragon Army, had mentioned this to him. Governor, Commander Chen of the Black Dragon Army, should have told you about me entering the little world in the south. Do you know which sect the celestial weapon, the world-cleansing horsetail whisk, is from? Chapter 26-20. I don't know either. Lu Fenggu shook his head when he saw Duan Lingtian's expectant gaze. Upon hearing this, Duan Lingtian was slightly disappointed. The celestial king who left the minor world behind is from the blissful sect. It's a sect that transcends the celestial kingdoms, Duan Lingtian said. Since the powerhouse who entered the little world with you was able to leave the little world alive, it means he's very powerful. His origin must be extraordinary as well. In fact, it's very likely that his sect is on par with the blissful sect. Even if his sect is weaker than the blissful sect, it shouldn't be too far off. Lu Fenggu continued to speak. However, I've been in the county city of Nine Spectres County for many years, and I've never heard of a celestial weapon called the world-cleansing horsetail whisk. If you want to know which sect the world-cleansing horsetail whisk belongs to, I'm afraid you'll have to go to King Qin's mansion or the capital. I can't say for sure about King Qin's mansion, but if you go to the capital, there's at least a 50% chance you'll be able to find out the origin of the world-cleansing horsetail whisk. Lu Fenggu said. The capital. Duan Lingtian's eyes flashed. He knew the capital Lu Fenggu mentioned was the capital of the intermediate-rank Celestial Kingdom. Duan Lingtian, Captain. Lu Fenggu looked at Duan Lingtian and said solemnly, even if your celestial methods and divine abilities aren't all heaven grade, it's best if you keep a low profile when you go to the county city of Nine Spectres County. Even earth-grade celestial methods and divine abilities are coveted by some people. Lu Fenggu reminded Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian nodded. He understood the saying, a man's wealth is his own ruin. After chatting for a while, Lu Fenggu brought Duan Lingtian back to the Black Dragon Army's camp. In the same valley, Lord City Governor Chen Xianba and the 4 captains of the Black Dragon Army walked out of their tents and bowed respectfully to Lu Fenggu. Xianba, after today, choose a new captain to replace Captain Duan Lingtian. Later, Captain Duan Lingtian will follow me back to the City Lord's estate. Half a year later, he and another person will follow the special envoy of the county governor's estate to the county capital and head to the county governor's estate. Lu Fenggu went straight to the point. City Lord, are you saying that one of the 2 spots will be reserved for Chiliarch Duan Lingtian? Chen Xuanba asked. It was clear that Chen Xuanba also knew about this matter. However, of the 4 Chiliarchs behind him, only Qin Yu's eyes flickered slightly, while the other 3 had blank looks on their faces. They had no idea what Lu Fenggu and Chen Xuanba were talking about. Of course, they still learned one thing from the conversation between the 2. In half a year's time, Bloody Spectre City would have 2 spots to head to the county governor's estate. It must be good news for the special envoy of the county governor's estate to come to Bloody Spectre City personally. Zhao Dongxing, Hu Ji, and Kai Wenyu all realized this. Yes. Lu Fenggu nodded and continued. As for the other spot, I'll choose from the Black Armored Army, the Silverworm Army, and the Golden Serpent Guards. 5 months later, before the special envoy of the county governor's estate arrives, I'll set up an arena in the City Lord's estate. The Black Dragon Army, the Silverworm Army, and the Golden Serpent Guards. Any Golden Celestials below the age of 100 can participate in the arena and fight for the other spot to head to the county governor's estate. Lu Fenggu finished speaking in one breath. Hu Ji and Kai Wenyu shook their heads and smiled wryly. They were already over 100 years old. Although they were Golden Celestials, they did not meet the requirements. Of course, they knew that if there was no age limit, they would not be able to obtain the spot. Even among the Chiliarchs of the Black Dragon Army, the 2 of them could only be considered below average. Zhao Dongxing and Qin Yu. They seemed to be under 100 years old. At the same time, Hu Ji and Kai Wenyu subconsciously looked to Zhao Dongxing and Qin Yu beside them. They discovered that Zhao Dongxing's eyes were displaying bursts of excitement. As for Qin Yu, his expression was calm. Could it be that Qin Yu is not interested in obtaining the spot at all? That should be the case. Hu Ji and Kai Wenyu looked at each other and communicated through voice transmission. They both thought that Qin Yu had given up on obtaining the spot. This Duanling Tian. At the same time, both of them glanced at Duanling Tian. A hint of jealousy could be seen in the depths of their eyes. After all, there were only 2 spots, and Duanling Tian had already decided on one of them. Of course, they knew that Duanling Tian had already decided on the spot. With Duanling Tian's strength, even if it was not predetermined, he would still be able to easily obtain one of the slots. Captain Duanling Tian, do you have anything else to do in the Black Dragon Army? If you have something to do, I'll wait here for you before returning to the city governor's mansion with you. Lu Fenggu smiled as he spoke to Duanling Tian in a very polite manner. Although Qin Xianba and the others were mentally prepared, they could not help but feel their hearts tremble when they saw this. Usually, unless the county governor's estate sent an envoy to Bloody Spectre City, no one in Bloody Spectre City would be treated so courteously by the city governor. Duanling Tian was the first person who was treated so courteously by the city governor, even though he was not a special envoy from the county governor's mansion. I'll go and greet my subordinates, Duanling Tian said to Lu Fenggu before he left the valley to look for his subordinates. Lord Captain, you're leaving? Lord Captain, did the commander of the Silverworm Army, Miao Lai Long, go back on his word and make things difficult for you? When Duanling Tian's subordinates learned that Duanling Tian was about to leave, their expressions changed drastically. Then, they began to ask questions. Lord Captain, I'm the instigator of the incident a month ago. I'll go and look for the commander now. Tong Zheng, a centurion under Duanling Tian's command, said as he prepared to look for the commander of the Black Dragon Army. Me too. Me too. The 9 soldiers from the Black Dragon Army who went to Lai Feng restaurant with Tong Zheng stood up as well. They wanted to follow Tong Zheng to look for the commander of the Black Dragon Army. However, they were quickly stopped by Duanling Tian. The incident a month ago has come to an end. I'm leaving because the city governor wants me to go to the county city of 9 Spectres County. Duanling Tian replied, Go to the county city of 9 Spectres County? Upon hearing Duanling Tian's words, Tong Zheng and the others realized Duanling Tian was leaving because something good had happened. After all, not everyone could go to the county city of 9 Spectres County. Although Tong Zheng and the others were reluctant to let Duanling Tian leave, they did not say anything else. All of them obediently bade farewell to Duanling Tian. If I have time in the future, I'll come back to visit all of you. After saying this, Duanling Tian left and met up with Lu Fenggu. They left the Black Dragon Army's camp and went to Bloody Spectre City. After entering the city governor's estate, Duanling Tian was allowed to enter Lu Fenggu's cultivation room. Lu Fenggu also gave Duanling Tian a spatial ring. Captain Duanling Tian, there are 100 prominent celestial stones and a bottle of primitive celestial pills, the spirit-nourishing pills, in this spatial ring, Lu Fenggu said. Spirit-nourishing pills? Primitive celestial pills? Upon hearing Lu Fenggu's words, Duanling Tian's eyes lit up as he looked at the spatial ring in his hand. Although the spirit-nourishing pill was a common celestial pill, it was not something that anyone could obtain. If a heavenly celestial consumed a spirit-nourishing pill without changing his cultivation environment, he would be able to reduce the time needed to break through to the next stage by 1/10. What did this mean? For example, a Crimson Moon Heavenly Celestial would need 100 days to break through to the Orange Moon Heavenly Celestial realm. However, after consuming a spirit-nourishing pill, one would only need 90 days to break through to the next stage. Most importantly, consuming celestial pills and absorbing celestial stones to cultivate did not conflict with each other. They could be used at the same time. Thank you, City Governor. Duanling Tian weighed the medicinal pill bottle in his hand and confirmed that it was true. There were at least 10 spirit-nourishing pills in the bottle. While Duanling Tian was cultivating in seclusion, Bloody Spectre City was not peaceful. Miao Lai Long, the commander of the Silverworm Army, said in front of Lord City Governor that he won't pursue the matter at Lai Feng restaurant. This doesn't seem like Miao Lai Long. In the beginning, Bloody Spectre City was not peaceful because of the matter related to Duanling Tian. Although the unrest in Bloody Spectre City was related to Duanling Tian, it was not related to the incident in the Phoenix restaurant a month ago. Duanling Tian followed Lord City Governor back to the city governor's estate and was allowed to cultivate in Lord City Governor's private cultivation room? Heavens! I've never heard of anyone being allowed to cultivate in Lord City Governor's private cultivation room. How did Duan Lingtian do this? How did he gain Lord City Governor's favor? The news from the City Lord Mansion shocked everyone in Bloody Spectre City. Most of the people in Bloody Spectre City found it hard to believe. That Duan Lingtian. Could he be the illegitimate son of Lord City Governor? Some people said. In the Silverworm Army's camp. What? Lord Commander won't pursue the matter at Lai Feng Restaurant? Don't tell me Captain Yang was crippled by Duan Lingtian? Why would Lord Commander do this? Just as the Silver Dragon Army soldiers were unable to understand this and were extremely depressed, the Silver Dragon Army suddenly changed their minds. News of Duan Lingtian going to the city governor's estate to cultivate in the city governor's exclusive cultivation room had spread to the Silverworm Army's camp. It did not take long before the news spread to the entire camp. What's going on? When Miao Lai Long, the Silverworm Army's commander, heard the news, his expression changed. Chapter 26-21. However, even if Lord City Governor wants to make him shed tears of gratitude and willingly hand over his celestial methods and divine abilities, there's no need for him to let Duan Lingtian cultivate in his quiet room, right? Miao Lai Long's expression darkened as he muttered to himself, even Chen Xianba and I have never been invited by Lord City Governor to cultivate in his quiet room. As the commander of the Silverworm Army under Qin Fenggu, Miao Lai Long, naturally, knew how good Qin Fenggu's quiet room was. Putting aside the celestial stones and other cultivation resources, just in terms of the environment, the speed of cultivation in the silent chamber of the City Lord of Bloody Spectre City was 2 times faster than that of Zhang Xian. For this reason, Miao Lai Long had been tempted to cultivate in Qin Fenggu's quiet room more than once. In fact, when Miao Lai Long learned that an ascender had mastered many profound celestial methods and divine abilities, he even thought of taking the ascender's celestial methods and divine abilities for himself without telling Lord City Governor of Bloody Spectre City. Once Miao Lai Long's strength had increased, he would be able to go to the county governor's estate in 9 Spectres County to replace Lu Fenggu as the new city governor of Bloody Spectre City. At that time, Lu Fenggu's cultivation room would naturally become his. I hope Lord City Governor will be grateful to me for telling him everything after he obtains Duan Lingtian's celestial methods and divine abilities. He'll teach me Duan Lingtian's celestial methods and divine abilities. Miao Lai Long thought to himself. However, Miao Lai Long was still unaware that Lord City Governor of Bloody Spectre City was not in Bloody Spectre City. After all, the City Governor of Bloody Spectre City had no intention of taking the Duan Lingtian's celestial methods and divine abilities. In the City Governor's estate in Bloody Spectre City. In the east of the City Governor's estate, there was a spacious mansion with a large front yard and backyard. This was where Lu Fenggu, the City Governor of Bloody Spectre City, lived. His quiet room was located in the backyard of the mansion. Currently, Lu Fenggu was sitting in front of a stone table in the front yard. He was drinking tea while looking at the flowers and plants in the front yard. No one knew what he was thinking. Lord Castellan, don't you regret not trying to force that Duan Lingtian to hand over the immortal spells and divine abilities he has mastered? Suddenly, a voice sounded out of nowhere. It seemed to come from all directions and spread to the front yard in the blink of an eye. Along with the voice, an old man with a medium build wearing a black robe appeared. The old man looked ordinary. His aura was restrained, and his eyes were cloudy. Ordinary people would only think that he was an ordinary old man. The most eye-catching feature on the old man's black robe was the golden snake embroidered on his chest. If one took a closer look, they would see that there was an inconspicuous crown embroidered on the head of the golden snake. If I force him, I will really regret it. Lu Fenggu seemed to be used to the old man's sudden appearance. I've asked you to investigate him as well. You should be able to tell what kind of person he is. Do you think he's the kind of person who would be forced? The old man fell silent when he thought about the arrogant purple-clad young man. He's a hidden dragon. Lu Fenggu's eyes flashed as he continued to say, it's better to befriend him than to offend him. I have a strong feeling that he's the only one who can help me get revenge for Qian. Young Master Qian. The old man's body trembled slightly. A hint of affection flashed in his eyes before they turned gloomy again. Among Lu Fenggu's subordinates, he had been with Lu Fenggu the longest. In fact, he had followed Lu Fenggu out of the county city of Nine Spectres County and the county governor's estate to Bloody Spectre City. He had watched Lu Fenggu's direct disciple grow up. Elder Hong. Lu Fenggu's eyes flashed coldly as he said to the old man, "If Miao Long finds out that I didn't intend to take Duan Lingtian's celestial methods and divine abilities and even recommended him to the county governor's estate, he'll definitely be displeased. Perhaps he won't dare to show his displeasure in front of me. However, based on his character, he won't let Duan Lingtian off easily. In fact, he might even leave Bloody Spectre City and head to the county city of Nine Spectres County to spread the news that Duan Lingtian possesses many profound celestial methods and divine abilities. I want you to keep an eye on him. If he shows signs of leaving Bloody Spectre City for the county city, you'll kill him and eliminate his sister and brother-in-law, Yang Kongping." Lu Fenggu said viciously, "If he tries to harm Duan Lingtian, he'll be stopping me from avenging Qian. At that time, I'll have no choice but to disregard our past relationship." Understood. The old man nodded before he disappeared into thin air in just a blur. Based on Lu Fenggu's words, it was obvious the old man was stronger than Miao Long. That was indeed the case. The old man was the leader of the Golden Serpent Guards under Lu Fenggu. In fact, he was the one who had raised the Golden Serpent Guards. The old man was a Blue Sun Golden Celestial. In terms of cultivation base, he was slightly stronger than Miao Long, who was only a Green Sun Golden Celestial. Moreover, his celestial methods and divine abilities were slightly stronger than Miao Long's. In Bloody Spectre City, the old man's strength was only slightly weaker than Lu Fenggu. I wonder if he'll be able to break through and become a Violet Moon Heavenly Celestial in 6 months? Lu Fenggu muttered to himself as he turned to look at the backyard after the old man left. Naturally, he was referring to Duan Lingtian. However, I don't think it's possible. After all, he has just become an Indigo Moon Heavenly Celestial. But then, Lu Fenggu shook his head as he felt that it was impossible. Duan Lingtian had said he had become an Indigo Moon Heavenly Celestial from a Blue Moon Heavenly Celestial in just a month. However, in Lu Fenggu's opinion, it must have been Duan Lingtian's fortuitous encounter in the little world that had helped him become an Indigo Moon Heavenly Celestial. For this reason, Duan Lingtian was able to become an Indigo Moon Heavenly Celestial in just a month. Therefore, it was impossible for Duan Lingtian to become a Violet Moon Heavenly Celestial from an Indigo Moon Heavenly Celestial in just 6 months. Although it's impossible, I still hope there's a miracle. After all, he's an ascender from the mundane realm, and it took him less than 100 years to achieve what he has today. This means his innate talent is heaven-defying even in the mundane realm. A moment later, Lu Fenggu's dimmed eyes brightened again. He did not know about other places. However, he had never heard of such a person in the Nine Spectres County. He had never heard of an ascender from the mundane realm who was younger than 100 years old in the Nine Spectres County. For this reason, he hoped Duan Lingtian would be able to create a miracle and surprise him. In the cultivation room in the backyard. At this moment, Lu Fenggu had given the cultivation room to Duan Lingtian. Although he could have entered the room to cultivate with Duan Lingtian, he did not do so. Instead, he gave Duan Lingtian a quiet and undisturbed cultivation environment. Duan Lingtian had consumed the primitive celestial pill, the spirit-nourishing pill. He held a prominent celestial stone in his hand as he circulated the crystal clearance tactic and immersed himself in his cultivation. 6 months later, he would go to the county city of Nine Spectres County and the county governor's estate. Once he arrived there, he would meet many powerhouses. Among them, there would be many great overarching golden celestials. Before that, he naturally hoped to improve his cultivation base. That way, his strength would increase accordingly, and he would be able to protect himself when he arrived at the county governor's estate in Nine Spectres County. Currently, Duan Lingtian had familiarized himself with the crystal clearance tactic. The heaven and earth spirit energy continued to flow into his body and turned into a crystal-clear liquid that flowed through his heavenly meridian. With the help of the spirit containment pill, the celestial origin energy in his body was constantly changing. It was increasing at a visible rate. Time continued to pass by. In just a blink of an eye, a month had passed. At this time, news that the governor of Bloody Spectre City would select a golden celestial who was younger than 100 years old from the Black Dragon Army, Silverworm Army, and Golden Serpent Guards would be sent to the county city of 9 Spectres County in 5 months. To the county governor's estate? That's great news. If he goes to the county governor's estate, not only will he receive better cultivation resources, but the cultivation environment will also be much better. I heard that the county governor's estate is looking for people from the 9 counties. Each county will be given 2 spots. 2 spots? Didn't they say there's only 1 spot, and the competition will be held in 4 months? You're ignorant, aren't you? Lord City Governor has already given one of the spots to Duan Lingtian, the Chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army. No wonder I heard that Duan Lingtian left the Black Dragon Army and is no longer a Chiliarch. I thought the governor wanted him to stay by his side. I didn't expect him to go to the county governor's estate in 9 Spectres County. Whether it was Bloody Spectre City, the Black Dragon Army's camp, or the Silverworm Army's camp, the news spread like wildfire. Didn't the Silverworm Army say Duan Lingtian is just an ascender who has just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven? Since Lord City Governor has given him a spot, it means he's not even 100 years old, right? How can you believe the Silverworm Army's words? When they said Duan Lingtian is just a heavenly celestial who has just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven, I knew they can't be trusted. How can a heavenly celestial who has just ascended be capable of crippling a Chiliarch of the Silverworm Army? They must be kidding. That's right. For the Silver Dragon Army to spread that kind of news, they are obviously playing us like monkeys. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.